a tale. Well, there's a place I've come to know well, led by a man named Sty. He's full of stories, he is quite a guy. Sit around the campfire and hear him tell his tale. Some may be able to relate to him quite well. We're all just people looking for a place to go. Well, Sty has made one, and it is quite a show. Come meet Sty, he's quite the guy. If you're feeling lonely, come and make a friend. If you need a story, on Sty you can depend. His voice is soothing like a lullaby. Sometimes he brings a tear to my eye. Sit around the campfire and hear him tell his tale. Some may be able to relate to him quite well. We're all just people looking for a place to go. Well, Sty has made one, and it is quite a show. Come meet Sty, he's quite the guy.
Hey, folks. Hey, happy Sunday. Here we are, back on a Sunday. Some folks may not pop in because they were on a live stream with me last night, obviously. Yeah, I got a wild hair and did a live stream last night, Saturday night. Went for 3 hours, a little over 3 hours. Whoa, yeah, I was pretty wore out at the end of that. And I had Nicholas Green on the panel at the end. When we ended the stream, that boy, it's kind of one of those deals. That boy didn't want to go home. So we talked for almost an hour and a half afterwards. It was a great conversation, had a great time chatting with each other. But holy Lord, was I beat at the end of that. So my total time sitting here in the studio related to that live stream was 5.5 hours. Now that's quite a bit for this old boy nowadays, quite a bit. The only person we got out in the chat, it's quiet out there. We don't have a lot of folks hanging out yet. They'll be showing up. But we got William Simpson out there. You caught me on a good day. I'm doing pretty good today. Quick update, cancer treatments are still going on, and they're not stopping it, but they're working at it. They're trying to slow it down, trying to hold that cancer back as long as they can, and I think they're doing a pretty good job. And so I get to go to the cancer clinic tomorrow. So this is my last good day of the week, because I get to go to the cancer clinic tomorrow, and they put me on the dang infusion for 4 hours. And typical Monday, it's pain in the neck Monday, and then I'll see how I feel Tuesday and Wednesday. But come hell or high water, I'm getting outdoors this coming week and working in my yard out here. Our yard needs to be all cleaned up. I'm getting out there doing that. I'm getting the new battery dropped in the lawn tractor, getting that fired up for the summer. I parked the snow blower in the back. That ain't gonna stay where it is. So that snow blower is so damn sweet. We will make room this summer in the shed for it, and we'll tarp it in the shed. I don't want that baby. No. I want that in good operating shape come this fall. Hey, Kathy Kahan, it is sweet that you're here. It is so good. Oh, she's got the baby. She's got the little grandbaby. That's cool. That's cool. I'm going to bring this fella up out of the basement. He's my right-hand man, even though he's over here on the left, my left at least. For you folks, I think he's on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Running Water and I got in that discussion because when he was just a boy, he was critically ill, and it's a big long story. That's why I'm not going to tell the whole story. But he had to go through major surgery, and they had to make an incision all around his rib cage and open him up to get into his chest to clean out the problem, just take care of the problem. And I was telling everybody the story about him. The only thing that I screwed up in the story was which side it was on. And it was my screw up. And that's when I realized, because I'm arguing, it was that side. It was that. And then all of a sudden I realized, oh, shit. The mirror effect, right? If I'm looking at them, left is right and right is left. So if it happened on the left side, I'm seeing it on my right. If it's happening on the right side, I'm seeing it on my left. So I was describing it from this perspective, not from this perspective. If I would put myself in his shoes, I would have gotten it right. So yeah, we do that shit sometimes. And then when you find out, you go, oh yeah, that was stupid. I was totally fucking wrong. But I was right. They cut his chest wide open, man. That I was right about. Yeah. And the only, I hate to say fortunate because there's nothing fortunate about that event whatsoever. Kathy, we're going to be on for a couple hours, so yeah, you might be able to catch us again. Jump back on, but I don't want to say the only fortunate thing or the good thing or anything like that, but fortunate, I guess, is the only word that's available for it. It's that he was 9 years old. Children are fucking resilient, I'm telling you. Kids, when you get into your mid to late teens, your tolerance levels drop right the hell off, and they keep dropping off the rest of your life. But when you're a kid, I've seen kids with terminal cancer, and a week before they pass away, those kids are fighting and they're tough as nails and they're just giving it. They're fighting that cancer. And the doctors are going, that kid lived for a year and we gave him 30 days. Well, it's because the kid doesn't know to die. They're doing what their body is saying, and that's survive, get through this and survive. And that was a real good lesson with Running Water's situation for us as adults to watch him go through that process, the resilience and the aftercare and recovery. Oh shit, I only wish, man, when they did my surgery, I couldn't imagine what that'd be for a kid. And I had to think back and I go, no, wait a minute. I wish I would have been under 10 years old because I would have had the resilience. Hell no, I got to get the hell out of here. I want to get on my bike and go riding, because kids don't see death. They don't look down the road and say, there ain't no down the road, I'm going to die. They don't see it that way. They say, I ain't giving up. I got things to do, man. I got to hang out with my friends. I got to do this. I got to do that. Good for them. Good for them. The
Well, that's the one troubling thing though with your surgery and all that is that 36 years later their bedside matter at Mayo hasn't improved.
crew hasn't improved. No. Oh, that one nurse that you had, when they said they're going to bring in security and remove her from the premises, before I beat the shit out of her for her own protection, they said they would remove her because they knew I wanted to kill her. I wanted to kill her. That boy wasn't even 6 hours out of ICU. Not even 6 hours. And she was demanding that he get up and walk himself to the restroom. Now, my ex-wife and I were right there the minute he came out of surgery. We were in the ICU as they transferred him into the hospital bed. I saw him, and that his whole face was contorted with pain and suffering, but he was unconscious. But his body knew, oh man, they fucked me up, And then to have this nurse within 6 hours of him coming out of his anesthesia, she's demanding he get up and walk to the restroom. And I told her, I said, no, he ain't. No, he ain't. I said, he's spending this first day in that damn bed. Tomorrow, we'll get him to stand up, walk a little bit, see if we can get him to walk to the bathroom. But today, you ain't doing nothing to him. This is the same day as the surgery. I said, no, you're leaving that boy alone. Let him stay as comfortable as possible in that bed for the rest of today. Oh, she was, and who made you a doctor? I said, nobody, but God made me his parent, so you can kiss my ass. You're going to do what we tell you to. And she said, no. And she started yanking on him to pull him out of bed. And that's when I literally intervened, got between her and him and said, woman, you touch my kid one more time, I'll knock you on your ass. I said, it ain't happening. That's when a couple other nurses saw what's going on. And they called security and they called the doctor, the surgeon. And lucky for her, the surgeon showed up first, and he told the one nurse, cancel security for now, but be ready to call him if I need him. And he came in that room. He didn't ask her what happened first. He asked me. And I told him what happened. And I said, I don't want that boy being made under his own power. Get out of that bed. It was like 2:00 in the damn afternoon. You can let him rest the rest of the day and the night. And then I'm all for it. Then you got to get him mobile, because being mobile helps you heal. But not right after the incident. I mean, not immediately. That surgeon turned on that woman and said, you leave the room. And I just like, whoa, shit. And she started to argue with him. And he said, oh boy. He said, I'd like to tell you you shouldn't go there, but you already did. So no, you leave the premises. You go, punch out. You're done. Out of here. We found out the following day. They terminated her ass. They fired her. But I thought, my God, you got a 9-year-old boy and you're treating him like that? Do you treat all these kids that way? Nasty woman. I mean,
yeah. Well, and that whole ward, most of them were cancer kids that were in there, and
yeah, a lot of them.
Having that hag in there.
Yeah, I mean, those kids are just suffering and have that nasty hag in there. In fact, after she left, there were times we could take you out, wheel you around in a wheelchair and shit. And you got these other kids. I mean, some of these kids are terminally ill. They're dying. They're out there in their wheelchairs racing hell in the hallways and having a good time. But we didn't see that the first 2 days there. She was there. And boy, it was just like a light came on. That woman was, she was a cancer. Yeah, she was a cancer in that fucking ward. Now the kids all seem happy, man. They all say, yeah, they were allowed to be kids. And if a kid was crying, man, you'd have 2-3 nurses on that kid right now to find out what the problem was, take care of it, and comfort them. And yeah, it was a bad thing to have to experience, but I was very happy with how quick things changed on that floor when that incident was dealt with by the surgeon. The surgeon said, I only come on this floor to see my patients post-surgery. He says, now I'm coming on this floor more often. I want to make sure that these kids are being treated right. He didn't see it from the medical perspective. He saw it from the emotional perspective. And I like that. I really did. And that's the problem I had at Mayo. There was only 2 nurses, 7 days in the hospital. And mind you, 7 days, I went through about 16 different nurses on their shift rotations. I had 2 nurses that each of them pulled 24 hours. They were on 12-hour rotating shifts, and you got a new nurse every time. You didn't know who the hell it was going to be. But I had 2 nurses that put in requests for overtime, and they pulled 2 24s. Each of them pulled a 24, just so that I had that familiarity with them. And we were able to kind of bond during that 24 hours and to get full care for a full 24 hours from the same person. And that person had awesome bedside manners. Everything they did, they told you what they were doing, and they'd comfort you. They'd pat you on the shoulder. They'd rub your arm. They were so sympathetic. All the other nurses, it was, no, it's just a job. It's just a job. Fuck you, I ain't your fucking job. You know. Hey, Lori, it's great to see you, girl. Joey. Hey, Joey, it's great to see you. Yeah, folks I saw last night. That's cool. I get to see him twice, twice in a row. Joe was saying, I told one nurse off, I says, good, now you hooked me up. It's time to go away. The less time I spend around you, the better. Haha. She did not respond. Depression is real. Great to see you. Great to see you. What Joey just shared with us, I do have to say, I had a gal. She works for this company for tube feeding, right? And she come in there trying to sell their product. Then I found out she was sanctioned by the Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic doesn't pay her. But she came in and represented herself as a dietitian. And I could tell after a little bit of conversation, she ain't no damn dietitian. I said, I want to see your credentials. Prove to me you're a dietitian. And she goes, I don't have to prove anything. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You're going to do that. I said, you know what, lady? You can F off. I need you to get the hell away from me. You're just here to sell me shit. Get out of my room. Leave me alone. No, you're going to do this. And I mean, that's the way she talked to me. Just mean, loud. No. And I'm laying there with 5 tubes coming out of me. All these fucking 4 different pain meds running into my system. And it didn't even cover the pain. Thank God I had the 4 pain meds, because like my surgeon said, without those pain meds, the trauma would have been so extreme that would have killed you. just the trauma, the stress on my body. Well, she wouldn't let up. Another nurse, the shift nurse at the time, she came in and she goes, "What's going on here?" Because she heard me raising my voice. And I told her, I said, "I want this woman out of my room." And she goes, "Well, she's a dietitian." I said, "I asked her to prove to me she's a dietitian. She goddamn better well, because I don't want to hear this shit." And I said, "And right now, I just want her out of my damn room." I said, "And I need more pain meds, man. She's driving me nuts." And I sat up and caused more pain because of her. Get her out of my room. And that woman talked right over the nurse and said, "You are going to do what I tell you to if we have to force you to." I looked at the nurse then, not her, and I said, "That big picture window over there," now mind you, I was on the 8th floor of this 8-story hospital. That's over 80 feet from the ground. And I said, "Does that big picture window open?" She goes, "Well, it cranks out. And then there's a screen window there." I said, "Just a screen and you can crank it wide open?" She goes, "Yeah, we can crank that all the way open and take that screen, as long as the screen's in place." I said, "Do me a favor, go over there and open that window." I said, "I know you won't take the screen out, but open that window because I can get through the screen. Because if that woman says another fucking word, I'm getting out of this bed. I don't give a shit if I rip the tubes out or not. Won't matter, because I'm going to Peter Pan out that fucking window and put an end to this shit. I can't take it anymore. I'm going to jump out that fucking window if you leave that woman in my room." That woman stood there shaking. And the nurse is going, no, Sty, calm down. But I looked at that woman, she just shaking. And all of a sudden, there's a tear running down her face. She turns and slowly walks out of the room. The next day, I find out from my surgeon, the gal was out on a 1-week medical leave for emotional trauma. I go say, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, it's unfortunate, but she won't be allowed to actually come back on staff until she goes through a full psychological eval." And he said, "She's technically not our staff. She's that company's staff. But the company told us we could administer our staff policies on her. That was in our contract with the company. So that's the way it's being dealt with. She has to go through a psychological eval, and then she's going to have to go through additional training, bedside training." And he said, "So she's got her hands full because of that incident." And I said, "Wow, she took it that bad, huh?" He says, "Oh, she's destroyed." She said, "I almost killed that man." He was going to jump out the fucking window. And if he would have done that and died, that blood would have been on my hands, because he told me flat out it was my fault that he's jumping out the window. He wasn't jumping out the window because of his surgery or because of somebody else. He was jumping out the window because of me. Well, then 2 days after that, when the surgeon came, he came and saw me every day. He comes in, he goes, "The gal you had the incident with?" I said, "Yeah." "Well, she resigned her position with the company and said she'll never work in the medical field again." I'm sorry, but that's good. Lori's saying, "I used to so much fun with the wheelchair races. And then we used to have this one girl that came into my room. Everybody joined in the nursing, play the guitar for hours on it." See, that's it. That's it. Yeah, Joe, in certain medical atmospheres, the nurses have no bedside manner. That's why, and it freaks people out. I go, oh man, it's Monday tomorrow. That's cool. That's great. I got to go to the cancer center. That's awesome. I don't like the inconvenience. I don't like the after effects of the chemo, but I like going to the cancer center. I mean, I don't even feel when they put that freaking needle in my chest for that infusion. I don't even feel it anymore. It's just inconvenient. It takes up almost 5 hours of my day. You know, if I'm seeing the doctor, it takes almost 6 hours of my day. Tomorrow, I don't have to see the doctor. I just go in, get blood drawn, and boom, I'm in infusion. Every single one of the nurses, every single staff member there treats you like you're their only patient and that their whole world depends on you being comfortable. I mean, I asked a couple weeks ago, it'd be 3 weeks ago. I'm sitting there, and the chair they have you in is super comfortable. I could sleep in that bugger, man. But when you put your head back, you got to kind of look down to see the damn TV. Because you get the TV and full cable, you got the remote, you can watch whatever you want. And that chair's got heat, it's got vibration, it reclines, except that the back, it's too far. There's no head rest, right? It's tall enough to rest your head against, but it's not like my gaming chair with a nice pillow behind my head, and half my streams I'm leaning against that pillow. Don't have that in that chair. So I said, about an hour into this 4-hour infusion, I'm going, my neck's hurting. And they go, really? How's it hurting? I said, it's just strained from having to hold my head forward to watch TV. Well, would you like a pillow? Oh, yeah. That'd be cool. Maybe a pillow will help behind my head. Oh, hell no, it ain't just a pillow. It's a nice, big, thick, soft, cushy, one of those neck pillows. And they put a pillowcase on it made for that neck pillow, and they tuck it in, and was that freaking comfortable. Now, my last 2 visits, when I get there, they've already got the pillow out with the pillowcase on it, sitting on the armrest of that damn chair. The minute I'm in the chair, they go, here, let's get your pillow set up. And then they go, and your coffee. You still want it the way? 3 hazelnuts, 3 sugars. Yep. Snacks. What snacks would you like? Oh, forget it. We'll bring the whole basket. Okay. I turn my cooking channels on and I go, oh, yeah, this is a good show. I'll watch this, see what they're cooking today. And all I got to put up with is a nurse coming in with a big smile on her face and how you doing? Pat your hand. She messes with the pump, changes the bags out on the chemo and shit. And then she'll pat your shoulder and say, I'll be back in about 15, 20 minutes, check on things. If you need me, there's the button, just push the button. Okay. She takes off, and you'll see 2 or 3 other nurses. You're not working with them. They're not working with you. They walk by, they see you, they pop their head in. Hey, Sty, how you doing? Hope you're doing okay. How's the day going? They make you so damn comfortable that you look forward to fucking going there. I've had people say I'm absolutely nuts looking forward to going to a cancer clinic. Now, you'd have to be there to truly understand. They make you so comfortable. Last week when I was in there, I'm sitting in the waiting room. I just checked in. I came in, checked in, sitting in the waiting room. And I had pounded down like 4 smokes before I got in there. Just chain smoke, 4 smokes, blah, 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 blah. Because I knew I'm not going to get a smoke for 5-6 hours. Well, I overdid it because when I got in there, I was sitting in that waiting room and I could feel that old smoker's cough coming on. So, Sty, would you like some water or juice or coffee? The gal's around the goddamn corner. And she's with another patient checking them in. And she's yelling out to the lobby, Sty, would you like some water or juice or coffee or something? First thing that went through my mind is, mind your own damn business. Second thing that went through my mind was, they give a shit. They really do here. They really do give a shit. You know, they care. They care. So it's cool. It's cool. In fact, the nurse, I told her, I don't care in the goddamn summer because I'll show up wearing my Crocs. But through the winter and spring when it's raining and snowing and shit, I don't want to take my goddamn shoes off to get weighed. And she said, well, you'll have to take them off today. And I go, well, okay, fine. So I kicked my shoes off. She goes, wait. She pushed me back away from the scale. I go, are you going to weigh me or not? She goes, we're going to weigh your shoes first. She weighs the shoes. And she makes note of it in my chart. She says, now you never have to take them off. Even in the summer, just wear your shoes. Just get on the scale. She says, because now we'll have your weight. She says, if the scale says 170 and your shoes weigh 1.5 pounds, okay, we know what your weight is. It's 168.5. She said, so no, you can wear your shoes. I've had over at my regular clinic, no way in hell, just take your shoes off. What? Yeah. Hey, Peppers. It is awesome to see you there, brother. Lori says, that's what I use here at home. As long as the next pillow's in there. So come, I'll tell you what, those neck pillows, I love them. I love them. I've got 2 of them, one upstairs, one downstairs. And for good reason. Them damn things are so freaking comfortable. Now this summer, I'll be out doing shit more, so I won't get as much use of them. But when I spend 4 to 6 hours at a time, and then I'll take an hour break and eat, and then I'll take 4 to 6 hours again, sitting there playing PlayStation, that neck starts to hurt. You really start feeling it in your neck. I put that neck pillow on and I lean back and play PlayStation for 10 hours. No neck pain at all. I love them damn things. And then at night, there's times where I'm feeling pain in my back, my shoulder, and around my neck. I put that neck pillow on. I'm out like a light and sleep all fucking night. Lousy neck pillow does that much good, you know. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And Joe's saying, Sty, LOL, you know when you've been at the clinic too many times when you know how much your shoes weigh. Yeah. I know all of my nurses. They're not, I call them my nurses because every single one of the infusion lab nurses has infused me. I've had a different nurse. Almost every time I get a different nurse. And that last week I had a gal come in and I go, what's your name? And she, Clarissa. And I go, oh, nice to meet you, Clarissa. I said, when did you come on staff? She goes, about a week and a half ago. And I go, really? Where'd you come from? And she goes, well, from the Mayo. She said, I went through my training at the Mayo, and then I worked for the Mayo Clinic. she said, for 3 years in their cancer unit. And then now I transferred to here. I said, why in the world would you leave Rochester, Minnesota to come to Ashland, Wisconsin? And she goes, I came only because of the cancer center. She said, this cancer center has the best reputation of any cancer center out there, and I wanted to work here. She said, so my husband said, let's buy a house in Ashland, move you to Ashland, you go to work with him. That's how I got here. Now, I know her by name. I'll know her every time I see her. Hey, Clarissa. I get to personally know each and every one of those gals. They're all awesome. They're all awesome. I've got someone right here in the basement that's going to replace, well, not going to replace, but it's going to budge in where running water's at. Look at this girl. Look at this girl. She belongs up here with me.
Well, she can replace me because I'm going to take some more painkillers and go to bed.
I get it. I get it. That's yeah. I'll tell you what. If I was a younger man, she'd be my painkiller, and I'd go to bed too.
Oh goodness! Nah.
Don't even nah. She says.
You don't want to put yourself through that torture. Trust me.
Oh, hey babe, where's the whips and chains? Beat me, whip me, show me you care. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, baby, why do you hurt me so good?
Yeah, why do you hurt me so good?
All right.
Okay,
have a good one.
You betcha.
Catch you guys later.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
We got a good group, good class of folks out there. You're looking good today, sweetie.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're making my Sunday.
It's been a nice weekend.
Good.
Yeah.
It was.
Rolling right along.
I shocked a bunch of people last night, popping on and doing a live stream. So many of them are, what's going on? I had people showing up and they'd private message me, PM me, and say, what's really, Sty, what's going on? Are you okay? I go, what? I was so fucking bored. I didn't have nothing to do. And I thought, I'm going to go hang out with some of my friends on YouTube, man. Why not? I said, yeah. Just because I pop on when you don't expect me doesn't mean that it's bad news every time, It's don't assume it's going to be bad news, Hey, David Jones. David Jones is in the house. There he is. Hey, David.
Yeah, I know. We got to take you when we can get you anymore.
Yeah. And I have to say, I did over 3 hours on that stream last night. And I thought, oh boy. And then I didn't get off of StreamYard for 5.5 hours because Nicholas Green kept me on after the stream for on and on and on. And I didn't say it to him. He might be watching right now, but I didn't say it to him. But it ran through my mind. I'm trying not to giggle or laugh, and give him any clue that I'm thinking something about him,
Yeah.
But he reminded me of that kid that keeps coming to your house. And you finally have to say, you need to go home. Need to go home. When I was growing up, we had a neighborhood kid that way. We'd be eating dinner and he'd come up to the dining room window and he'd lean on the windowsill and yak. And my dad was the chief of police and he'd sit there and he's eating his chair, the back of it faced that window because he knew that kid was showing up. And it was 3-4 times a week that kid was there, and through dinner we'd have to listen to that kid And if you had a conversation with somebody else, it ain't going to work because that kid talked right over you. I mean,
Yeah.
eventually, my dad would turn around and he'd go, "Hey, Harold, it's time for you to go home."
Yeah. Leave it to Beaver.
Yeah,
Leave it to Beaver there.
you bet. The old, your mother's calling. I could hear her. She's calling. Your mother's. You better run home, boy. Heard your mom calling. She sounded upset. You better hurry up. Anything to get that one kid the hell out of there. But I have to say, all that time with Nick last night was very uplifting, very good, very
Nick's
good.
good people.
Yeah, he is. He's one. I don't give a shit that he's 21. He's one sweet kid. I've known him since he was a kid.
He's an old soul too.
Well, and that's it. Is if you really get to know Nick, not the YouTube Nick, the real Nick, you find out how good a people he really is. Very old soul. I wish more people his age were like that. It would make a world of difference. We even got on that conversation during our talk was about the way things have changed, and Nick, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. He says it's just the way those kids are raised. It's got nothing to do with the kid himself. It's got to do with the way they were raised. Yeah, and you're 21 and you're seeing it already. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. Oh. I love that you can hear her dog talking in the background.
She only does it when I sit in here, and I don't sit in here often these days. But when I do, she's always yapping at me.
Gotta talk.
Having the attention, yeah. All day long.
Yeah. She can sense that you're talking to others, not her.
Yep. She's like, who's on that computer that's so special besides me?
Yeah. Kind of like my ex-wife. Oh, you can talk nice to everybody else, but you never talk to me. What the fuck? I talk to you all the goddamn time. That's why I do talk to other people, because it's you. And so I talk to other people so that I can hear different voices and get different opinions. Ooh. Yeah. God. I don't know, Sam, if you heard about it, but just by out of coincidence, I stopped at a local L&M supply store here where they got a big gun section, right? And I needed some ammo for my handgun. I go out every week or two and pop off 20 rounds or so, and I restock every couple of months. I just needed one box of ammo, so I stopped there. Excuse me. But I'm in there, and I need one of the attendants, one of the clerks in the gun department, to open the case so I can get a box of ammo. I'm trying to get his damn attention. And he's yakking with this other guy, some customer. And then I heard a name. Heard him mention a name, and I'm going, oh boy. I haven't heard anybody mention his name in years. So finally, when I got his attention, he comes over. I said, I hate to say this because you'll think I'm an eavesdropper, but I couldn't help but hear you use a certain name. And I repeated the name to him. And this fella's that he was talking about, his first name is Dave. And I said, do you know Dave? And he goes, oh, we've been buddies for 20 years. I know him so well, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, that's kind of good to hear because I've been a buddy of his for over 30 years. He goes, that means You knew him when he was in his late teens. I said, uh-huh. I sure did. And I said, and if you don't believe me, I said, he was a game warden. He worked in law enforcement, and he was in the U.S. Coast Guard for years. He went to Coast Guard reserves even while he was doing law enforcement. That guy stood there with his mouth hanging open. He goes, "That's him." I said, "Well, yeah, I don't know anybody that's got the same last name as him." So, when I heard his name, boom, it popped up. And he goes, "So you know him?" I said, "Yeah, I know him." He says, "Oh my gosh, I'm surprised we haven't crossed paths." I said, "Well, I haven't spoken to him in over 6 years. It's been 6 years. I didn't have his contact information had changed. I didn't have his phone number. I didn't have his address or anything. I didn't know how to reach him. I didn't even know if he was still living in the area." And he goes, oh, he's still living here. He's still got this such and such a house. And I said, "Oh, that's a new house, actually, from the last time I got together with him." And he thought, and he goes, "Yeah, that's right. That's about 6 years ago." I said, "Yeah, it would have been." And I told him, I said, "If you get the chance, the next time you see David," he says, I'll see him tomorrow morning. We always have coffee every morning together at a local restaurant. He says, "We see each other every day of the week." I said, "Well, that's good. If you can remember my name, drop my name to him and just tell him if he would like, he could contact me." And he goes, "Oh, you bet." He pulls this notepad out and he writes my name down. "I need your phone number." So I give it to him. He unlocks the ammo case, says, "Figure out what you want." And he steps kind of to the side and he's got his cell phone. And I hear him, "Hey, Dave." "Yeah, Dave." He goes, "Yeah, so-and-so's looking for you." And I could hear Dave over the phone just yelling, "What the fuck?"
I love it.
And he says, here. He says, he'd like to talk to you. And Dave says, "Damn, I can't right now. I'm at the Coast Guard station. I can't." He says, "But how do I get a hold of him?" And the guy says, "I got his phone number." And he says my phone number. Yeah. And I could hear Dave say, I got it. It's in the phone. You tell him I'll be getting a hold of him." The very next morning, about 7:30 in the morning, my phone's ringing. And I answer it, and he was on his way over to Minnesota for some business he had to do over there. And so while he's taking the trip, he called, and we chatted for a good, I'd say, a couple of hours while he's on his road trip. And he says to me, the very last thing, it was getting to the point where, we had talked long enough where, I think we need to cut it off. But he goes, "Well, now that I got your number, I know where you're at." He said, "I'll be getting a hold of you, and we're going to get together so that we can talk about some shit about the past and this and that." I said, "What the hell do you think we've been doing for the last 2 hours, bud? Don't feel that there's a big mass hurry." He says, "Well, you tell me you're fucking dying and I shouldn't be in a hurry?" He says, "Yeah, I'm in a hurry." He says, "I got to see you, man, before that shit happens." And I said, get real. I said, "I'll be here. Don't worry about it." And he's called me twice now. That's just awesome. To touch base. "How's it going?" And blah, blah, blah. And it's crazy because him and I were old drinking buddies. I mean, we had some of the worst shenanigans in the world. And he's in law enforcement at the time. I was an executive working for a tribe at the time. Neither one of us needed any public attention, but boy, we were getting it. We were out there just raising hell. When we were off work, we just did what we wanted. He said, "Boy, we'd never get away with that shit nowadays." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "No kidding." He says, "That's why I'm done with law enforcement." he says, I'm still involved. I still do some of the trainings and things with them, but I'm not on their staff. I won't be in law enforcement anymore. He said the wokeness has gotten so bad and police officers are treated like shit constantly. He said,
Yeah, my mom's husband's a cop.
it's tough. It's tough. Cops today, I tell you what, people can say, oh yeah, these cops, they pull people over and they intentionally kill people and they do this. That. Okay, get online. There's one, it's called Blue Code Cam. Excellent channel. There's another one I don't remember the name of. And watch some of those cop videos because they got the good, bad, and ugly. They're just showing body cam footage and dash cam footage, and they're not giving any opinion. They're letting you build your own opinion. You watch those, and I guarantee you're going to say, what in the hell? Who in the hell would want that job? Some of these people they got to deal with is insane. And the ones I was watching yesterday morning were just making me sick, where these officers, I was proud as hell of them. These officers saving kids. I mean, such a big bad person. He's a cop. But yet these cops are out there doing CPR on 3-month-old babies, little 4-year-olds that were in a severe car accident. And all of them, you see, that'll be one of the comments that they pop up, is that what the medical determination was on those children. Every single one of them I watched, and I watched about 35 of them yesterday morning. Every single one of them said the child would not, period, have survived without that cop. So think about it. When the cop's just doing his goddamn job, you might not agree with the law and all that shit. He's not the guy to argue with. He's just following those laws. You want to argue about it and you don't like the way he handled the whole thing? There's a place to argue that, and it's called the court. Get in the court and have your say. If you want, get up on the witness stand and say it exactly the way you saw it. But don't tear into that cop out on the street. You don't even know what his last call might have been. It might have been a domestic abuse and some guy killed his damn wife. And now he pulled you over for a speeding violation, and you're ripping him a new ass saying, I'm a constitutional citizen. I got the right to drive without a license. Yeah, but you're drunk as a skunk and you're doing 75 in a 35. That's why we stopped you. You had no right to stop me. And the cop's thinking, after that last call, I should just pull my gun out and shoot him and myself. I mean,
Jeez.
I watch those and I just like, oh my God. And you watch some of them and the cops go overboard. Yeah, they go overboard. And yeah. And why do they go overboard? It's because we are all human. And even cops can make bad decisions at times. That doesn't mean their department agrees with what they did. That just means they chose to push the limits. And those cops, yeah, you need to speak up. But you don't speak up to that cop. You speak up to his superiors and to the court. That's it. Hey, Rebecca Felter. Great to see ya.
Hey, lady, how you doing?
Stopping by real quick. Can't stay. I'm about to have dinner. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. Well, thank you. Thank you. I didn't get to eat I didn't even get to eat my supper until midnight last night.
Yeah, you were too busy online.
Yeah, I was online.
Having fun.
Yeah. And then towards the end, I started feeling it. I'm like, oh, shit, I should test my blood sugar. I mean, I haven't eaten in like 8 hours. So this is bullshit. I got to get off here. And then Nick keeps me on for an extra couple hours. And I'm just like, finally told Nick, this is it, man. I got to shut us down. If you don't want to say good night, then you just sit up here by yourself because I'll leave it run. I don't give a shit because I got to go eat. I got to check my blood sugar. I got to blah, blah, blah. And so, but it was, and we talked about it during the stream, and I had people in the chat going, ew. I tell you, yeah, I'm a little weird. But you know those cheese hot dogs you can buy?
Mm-hmm.
I love to take a half a pack of cheese hot dogs. That's 5 hot dogs. I slice them all. You get about 20 slices per dog, right? Throw them all in a frying pan, and I fry them suckers up. That cheese melts in them. Fry them up. Then I pour a bunch of barbecue sauce on top of them, and then cook them. Slow cook them a little bit for about 20 minutes. And I had those hot dogs, those barbecue hot dogs, and some homemade potato salad at midnight last night. And it tasted, I mean, they can take their caviar and shove it up their ass. I mean, this was the most awesome comfort food I've had in a long time. Just sitting there eating them stupid barbecue hot dogs and potato salad. Yeah.
I'm like, you're at a picnic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Marine Mom.
Marine Mom's in the house. It is great to see you, Marine Mom. She hopped on the stream last night. We had some really good chats going. And I love it. Marine Mom is a very, very good participant in our chat. Doesn't surprise me. I knew Marine Mom when she was a young lady. And I was impressed then. And I'm impressed even more now. Yeah, she's good people, folks. Very good people.
She says it's hot there. Hey, Justin.
Yeah, it's hot there. Hey, Justin! Awesome. It's so good to see you. In fact, Justin, guess what I had for lunch today? Big old bowl of cheese curds that I warmed up in the microwave with pizza sauce. And a big slab of that sausage. Macadoon summer sausage. Oh, yeah. That was a good lunch. I love that. Love that. Marine, it's so hot here. We ain't got that problem here. We got no, we can't say it's so hot here. You know it's chilly in Wisconsin when Sty says, I'm the hottest thing in town. Yeah. That means it's pretty damn cold out. 86 degrees. Hell, if you were to flip them numbers and say 68, I'd say, oh, fuck, it's hot. Yeah, 86 degrees. Oh, my God. Oh. I wouldn't want to have to work at 86 degree temperature.
We rarely ever see 86 in Alaska these days, but yeah.
Yeah.
We get up there to the 80s.
Shouldn't it be like 102 up there with global warming?
It's 45.
With the global warming, you guys should already be growing shit. I mean, you should have all tomatoes growing in the garden and shit. Yeah. Well, there ain't no ice cap anymore, is there?
You're asking the wrong person.
I
don't pay attention.
I love that. I like what you just said. I love, girl, because I heard I could. Someone told me go check this video out. Well, it wasn't on YouTube. It was on some website. So, And he sent me the link, and I clicked on it. And I'm watching it, and it's some reporter up there. I think it was either Anchorage or Fairbanks.
Mhm.
And he was going around doing these quick interviews with people out on the street and shit. And he was asking about global warming, and they're going, what? Almost every one of them was like, what? What are you
These
talking
were the
about?
longest winters and worst winters ever this last time. So
They're all like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then when he'd say, well, climate change, and they go, yeah, that it changes. Every
we
year
got
it
4
changes.
seasons. Yeah.
Every year it changes. Nobody that he interviewed even had a clue what the topic was.
Oh wow.
Because they're not following it. They couldn't give a shit. They're busy living their own lives.
Yeah,
And
we're too busy enjoying the outdoors up here, honestly.
yeah,
We
and
don't let
that's
that
it.
shit go to waste.
That's it. And I get a kick out. I watched this one where they're talking about how the ice cap's melting. It's going to kill all the polar bears. They'll just be out there swimming in circles with nowhere to go because there won't be no ice. I watched a study from the Department of Natural Resources biologists up in Alaska how grizzlies have actually migrated inland. He said grizzlies, or not grizzlies, polar bears. That he says they're not stupid.
Mm-mm.
If they're going to have to swim 15 miles to get out to the ice, they go, I think I'll just stay here on the ground and walk in.
Yep.
And he said, and the proof in it is they now have, I can't remember how many it was, but it was over 100 confirmed crossbreedings of polar bear and grizzly.
Ooh.
So they're getting these blonde grizzlies or these what look like albino grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they trank them and do the tests on them, DNA and shit, they found out they're half polar bear.
Yeah.
And they said, so really don't worry about the polar bears. Don't worry about the polar bears. And I used to tell my buddies that back in my Casanova days, but I used to tell my buddies that, hey, if there ain't no good looking girls, pick the prettiest ugly one.
Yeah, well, there was one grizzly out there that was probably, saw a polar bear, was like, "What's up, snowflake? Let's go."
Yeah, there you go. There you
that
go.
was his thing. That was his jam. So
That's right. Yeah.
good on you, hybrid.
Yeah. 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 I heard you're from the North Pole.
Yeah.
How'd you like to visit my South Pole? Yeah, I can hear that chick going on. Yeah.
That was nice. You're great.
Come on down and visit my South Pole.
I've seen a few grizzlies, and one at the zoo. Well, there's a couple. One at the zoo. They got it there, of course. That thing's massive. But there was one that actually came down the hillside when I was living up there in Anchorage. Colin was just a baby, and he was coming to get, and we had a trailer with a tarp on it, and there was garbage underneath. He was coming down for that trash. And I'm glad we were all inside, but we sat there and watched him as he very lightly, with no effort, just shred that thing open with his claws and got into it in seconds. It was
like it wasn't even there.
Yeah. He was just so big, and oh my goodness, they're huge. And yeah, you don't want to fuck with that.
We, when I lived in northwestern Montana, I was on I guess you could call it a civilian activist group fighting the Montana DNR and the federal Forest Service because they started And we managed to get the state to pass legislation to ban it, period. Don't give a shit if you're a Fed or who you are. You ain't doing that shit in Montana. They called it the Grizzly Surrogate Project. And what they were doing was they were able to take grizzly fertilized eggs and implant them in black bears. Now, the black bear would then deliver 1 or 2 grizzly cubs because they were grizzly cubs to start with.
Wow.
And they ran that project for like 4 or 5 years. All of a sudden, we got grizzlies. We got grizzlies in the goddamn dumpsters. And in northwestern Montana, the grizzlies, they don't want people, period. Grizzlies don't want to come near people. They won't dig in your trash. They won't nose around your house because there's so much hunting. And compared to Alaska, the mass of Alaska, you take the hunting activity in Alaska and cram it down into one little corner of Montana. And that's the kind of activity. Those bears are hearing them gunshots constantly. They don't want nothing to do with people. Except the black bears. Black bears, oh no, we'll dig in the garbage. And it's because the black bears are more tolerated. But what they found is the surrogate mothers of these grizzly cubs were teaching those cubs to dig in the garbage.
Yeah.
They're grizzlies, but they're being taught to be black bears. And
we had one graze in the school. They had to put it down, like not down, but they had to tranquilize it and take it off. But they put our school on lockdown because we had one out on the football field. And he was just grazing, checking stuff out, probably looking for something, whatever. But they wouldn't let any of us outside and nothing. It was scary, but they got it, and they probably put him back out into wildlife. But
we had one.
Hey, Fulton.
Hey, Mr. Fulton, good to see you. Mr. Fulton was here last night. Marine Mom saying, I do miss seeing black bears. Because Marine Mom she's from our neck of the woods up here. She doesn't live up here anymore. She lives down south. And she'd love to come home and visit at least. But she's constantly commenting about things she misses from up here. And talking about black bears up here, when I worked for the Bad River Indian Reservation as their chief financial officer, I called our game wardens, our tribal game wardens. I said, all right. Now we call him Buddy, this bear. And you knew it was him because he had a bald spot on his butt. Because when he was a cub, he got caught in a forest fire and it burnt. He got a severe burn on his rump. Well, the hair never grew back through that scar tissue. So he's got this bald spot on his butt. And he was a big bugger, 418-pound black bear. Well, that's 2 adult men, right?
Yeah, or 3 if they're small.
Yeah, 3. You get, no shit. But, that's 3 of me. Nowadays, not a couple of years ago.
No.
I was up there with that bear. Not quite. But I told him, I said, Buddy's over here at our offices. And I said, he's going around and he's looking in every single vehicle in the parking lot. And he's going to find one where it's got a Twinkie on the front seat or something. And he's going to be that vehicle. And they said, well, if he's not damaging anything, I said, no, wait a minute. If I called you and said, we got a suspicious person over here that's walking around our parking lot looking in all the car windows, you'd send you'd send the tribal cops, the county sheriff, the federal marshals, and then the National Guard to arrest the son of a bitch. But you're telling me we gotta put up with Buddy out in our parking lot looking in the damn windows. And they said, well, we don't want to have to deal with Buddy if we don't want to. We want to avoid it. And I said, why? And they said, we've already transported him 5 times this year. I go, what? They said, and the last time we transported him almost 4 hours south of here and dropped him off. And within a week, he was back. He's not going to stay wherever we put him. And they said, I think the one warden said, I think if we dropped him off way out in Washington State, it would take him a couple of months, but he'd be back here.
He'll come back. Yeah. That's his place, man. That's his place.
And
hey, Ryan.
He got so used to getting, the way I look at it, so used to getting it arrested because they catch him in the bear traps every time. It was like he didn't care. Oh, there's a bear trap. I know what's in that bear trap. Cookie dough and day-old donuts. I'm going in there, man. Even though he'd been trapped in those traps forever, he still goes right in there because he knows he gets to chow on all of that while he takes a ride somewhere. And wherever he gets, he goes, yeah, I'll just head back home and stop here and there and eat somebody's garbage on the way up. And he was a true, hey, it's great to see you, Ryan, but he was a true nuisance bear.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd tear people's garbage all up. It's all over their damn yard. He's knocking down their bird feeders and shit. But not once did he ever act aggressive towards people. He did. If you came out of the house and you yelled, "Hey, buddy, get the hell out of here!" He'd run off. But once you go in the house, been quiet for an hour or so, buddy'd probably come back because he ain't done eating whatever was there. But he'd run off when people would try to approach him. But he'd walk right into a bear trap, one of those DNR bear traps. And black bears are just funnier than hell. Marine Mom, just like a cat. Cats that find their ass home. We had one 9 miles from where we lived, way up in the back country. I mean, if you were a weasel living up there, your life was in risk every time you showed your face. And that stupid ass cat would walk from our camp 9.5 miles down to where our old house was. And the neighbors around there would see him. That was beef. And they'd catch him. And they'd feed him, take care of him until I came to town. They'd chase me down and say, "We got your cat." Oh, yeah, he'd been gone for about 4 days.
Tiger takes off all the time. Yeah, he likes adventures. Fucker drives me nuts.
And
I had to get on Facebook Marketplace or wherever, or no, it was Lost and Found Pets in the area or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But I put a post up of him because we've only been here for about coming up on a year in October, but still,
yeah.
It just, I didn't like him being gone that long.
Yeah.
She had footage of him for the last 3 nights at the same time of night, like 4 a.m, grazing her lawn. And so he was up the road quite a ways. So I went out there and called for him. And then that night he came home. So, but he had this freaking ear bite on him. And
out there fighting and scrapping.
It's all freaking abscessed up. Yeah, it was swollen. It had a big old abscess on it. I'd take him to the freaking vet. Damn it. And I was so mad, but happy I'd found him. I'm like, butthole, you just don't care. You don't,
He doesn't.
So I made him an appointment. He's getting those fuckers snipped off. It's time.
There you go.
And he had his 3 years of fun and no more. So
I wish
I
I
can't
wish I
do it.
lived up I wish I lived up there by you. I'd cut him for you. He wouldn't feel no pain.
Oh
I
God.
but I'd cut him for you, and I'd cut him.
Poor
I,
cat.
I wouldn't cut him proud. I'd cut him shy, and that's what
Yeah.
I used to have to do the castrations with farm animals all the time, and with horses. When you geld a horse, there's so many people they go, oh, I bought this awesome quarter horse gelding, but I can't ride him. He's so damn mean and nasty. I said, "Are you sure he's gelded?" Yeah, he's been cut. He ain't got his junk anymore. I said, that means they cut him proud. You have to pull that cord way out and go way up in there and remove that cord, and it's called cutting them shy. Now all of a sudden, they're kind of almost trans,
Oh gosh.
they don't have any of those male urges at all anymore. You take it away from them, and that's the way I used to always cut the horses, was cut them shy, unless the person specifically wanted them cut proud, so they still acted like a stallion. The
Hey, Metal.
He's in trouble again. He says,
Why?
You're just trouble, Metal.
Harry's
I mean,
funny.
Harry's in trouble all the time. All he has to do is show up. He's in
Oh,
trouble.
look at Ryan's comment, Sty, right below it.
I'm getting married next Saturday to my girlfriend, so she can keep the business going in my name.
Congratulations, Ryan.
Congrats! And the best of luck to both of you. Best of luck. You're taking on, both of you taking on a lot of responsibility there.
Yeah.
It takes
Hey,
two. It takes
beautiful.
two to tango. Me Dibbles in the house. Look at Samantha's face. That's why I'm missing some of the chat, guys, because I sit here and you yak away, and I'm looking at Sam. That, but
Yeah.
actually, and I understand we're all our own worst critics.
I just always get this. When people, I just get this weird feeling because I don't like it. It's always bothered me. I'm not in a like. I don't know. I don't accept compliments well.
That's the
my
way
dad
I am,
calls
girl.
it ugly duckling syndrome because
That's
I was very gangly and very funny looking when I was a little girl, and I got made fun of and bullied daily, constantly. It was very hard for me every day coming home from school. So like I didn't look different, I guess, till I was in my 20s. And when that started happening, I'd just be like, are you fucking with me? Like, I get this feeling like you're bullshitting me, I don't, and I don't know. It just always makes me feel just, so
Right,
that's why I react like that. It's
you
just
feel
a tick I
you
have.
just you just naturally feel that hesitation.
I don't believe it. Yeah.
That where it's I get it all the time. People are complimenting me and say, "Oh, Sty, you're so this, you're so that, blah blah blah," and there's times after some streams where I go, God, I got some crazy ass friends. I didn't fucking are they crazy? I'm not all that. I'm not. I'm just not all that.
Exactly. You get it.
And
Marine mom gets it too. She says same here.
Same here. Yeah. And that's it. That's it is, and I've learned, and I pick on Sam. I compliment her all the time. I'm sorry, guys.
It's fine.
I'm sorry, guys. Even when we're having just a personal conversation, nobody else is there. I compliment her. She hasn't disappointed
He likes to
me.
see my cheeks turn red, I guess.
She hasn't disappointed me yet. So, and it's been years now. So I think I'm safe with Sam. But
you know what I was thinking? It's been coming up I want to say 5 years that I've been on here and known you guys as friends.
Isn't that insane?
Where did the time go?
Exactly. I had an individual, Richard
Oh, that's
Bentley.
awesome.
That's so true, Marine Mom. And that's
I
it.
love that.
That's it. Now, when I had my wilderness camp, one of our course studies that you go through in our week-long camp is because it was how to thrive in the outdoors using primitive ways. And that question always came up. So we made it part of the course study. The question that always came up is, how do you deal with loneliness if you're stuck out in the wilderness and you're all by yourself? You might have all these skills and everything, but how do you deal with the isolation and the loneliness? I said, well, you ain't out there alone. So yeah, I said, I'll do up a course study on it. And we had almost a half-day course study on that, of how to survive on your own out in the wilderness. Well, the first thing you do is make sure you take your two best friends with you. I and myself. They're your two best friends. Me, myself, and I. Well, you're me, and you've got I and myself. And you'll tell I and myself all your dirty secrets, won't you? And you can have a conversation. You can have a conversation with those two, and you can actually get in arguments with them too.
Yeah.
So don't tell me you're goddamn alone unless all you have is me and you don't have an I and myself with you. And there are people that's all they have is a me. They don't like themselves. They just don't like something about themselves to the point where they don't realize your absolute best friend that you will never lose, ever, no matter what. Your absolute best friend is I and myself. They're my best friends for life. They're there with me 24/7. Good, bad, or ugly. It's me, myself, and I. The three of us, we can talk about it. We can bitch about it. We can disagree, agree. I've done that many times. Or I'll try to evaluate a situation and I start questioning that. Well, I know that the questioning of it is either I or myself is questioning what the fuck I'm thinking. And I'll sit there and debate with myself. But we always walk away the best friends because all three of us, me, myself, and I, we're looking out for each other. We can't live without each other. So you aren't alone. You're never alone. And if you're a believer, you know too, the good Lord's with you all the time anyway. So you have plenty of shoulders to lean on if you're physically alone. If you're physically alone, that's all it is. Don't let it get into your mind and brush off your best friends, I and myself. Don't do it. Don't do it. And even if you don't share that with people, take pride in yourself. Take pride in yourself. You might not be the best person in the world, but you are you. You are you. You should be proud of you because you should be happy with you. And when you look in the mirror, if you look in the mirror and you go, "Oh, you ugly old son of a bitch," and you think, "I wonder what other people think. Do they think I'm as ugly as I think I am?" Then you have to ask yourself, does it frickin' matter? Because I can't unugly it. I mean, so what the fuck? So I'm one where I ain't the most attractive old fart. I wasn't bad looking when I was young, but yeah, things have changed. I don't. I look at myself as it don't matter if you're ugly or not, you crazy old fool. Because life goes on. Yeah, me, myself, and I, person in the mirror, absolutely. Uh, yeah, me Dibble was back on the bear topic was saying you're not alone there. Are bears and wolves out there too? Yeah, I've seen plenty of timber wolves in my lifetime. In recent years, plenty of timber wolves. Um, it's different. Yeah, uh, Upers have their own personality. Yeah, actually, the majority of Upers I know, and I know quite a few, they feel the way I do. I'm my own best friend. And if you don't like me, the rest of the world be damned. I like myself. Yeah. Ryan. Oh, Ryan, that is so kind. That is so kind of you, buddy. That, and there you go. That goes with what Sam was saying, where sometimes it's tough to take compliment. I've had people donate to the channel, and it's monetization. Um, is at times for me was a curse. It was a cure in some situations. It was a curse in others because it's not my nature to accept. I'm a giver, not a taker. And then I got my ass chewed out by people like this gal over here that sometimes you just have to shut up and accept that you're not taking when somebody is giving. Well, that's hard for me because I never in my life liked to accept anything from somebody else. There were times where I had to meet needs. I'll give you an example. There was a period in time when my family, we were down and out. I mean, I got a wife and 4 kids, and we were literally down and out. Couldn't put groceries on the table. Well, I was in between jobs. I did have a new job all lined up, but I couldn't start the job for 2 weeks. Well, you got to still pay all the bills and shit. Everything covered. Hey, Kimberly, it's good to see ya.
Kimberly, good to see you, lady.
So I was so stubborn. There was just no way in hell I was going to let anybody pay my way. And so we're going to make ends meet. Well, it got to the point where it was tough telling my ex-wife, this is our last meal. We had a can of Bush's baked beans. I had a small piece of salt pork in the freezer. Nothing in the fridge. Nothing, with no milk, eggs, nothing. It was empty. I opened that can of beans up. I diced up that salt pork, fried it up a bit, threw it in with the beans, stirred it up. Well, it's 1 can of beans, 6 people. You can't survive on that shit. So I looked again in the freezer, and there was an old loaf of homemade cinnamon bread that we made, the cinnamon swirl bread that we had made, homemade. That's when we had flour and sugar and everything to do that shit. Well, we didn't have any staples left at all. Everything had been eaten in the house. We had no dry staples whatsoever. No macaroni, no flour, nothing that you could prepare. So I told the ex-wife, I said, we're going to eat the cinnamon bread. The kids get the beans and the pork. So we split that can with the kids, so they got all of it. It filled their bellies. It was tough sitting there eating this frost-bitten, I mean, nasty cinnamon bread with no butter on it, just eating the bread. The wife and I sitting there eating that bread, watching those kids eating their nice-sized bowl of beans. What was tough is knowing that tomorrow there's not even cinnamon bread for the kids. There's nothing for any of us. I put my piece of cinnamon bread down. I told the wife, I said, that's it. Walked in the other room. I grabbed my shotgun, stuck a bunch of bird shot in my pocket. In the other pocket, I put some deer slugs. And she goes, what are you doing? She goes, there's no gas in the truck. You can't go anywhere. I said, I can walk. This town's only 1 square mile. I can walk. And I walked straight through town, got to the outskirts of town, and I shot 2 pheasants, a grouse, and a deer. And I come strutting right through town, dragging that fucking deer way out of season. No way in hell I had a legal right to shoot that. And I got these 3 birds hanging from my belt that were out of season. And I'm walking down the road with my break open shotgun over my shoulder. I'm walking down the road dragging this deer. And I've got residents coming out and going, my God, Sty, are things that tough? And I go, well, it ain't tough now.
The Davy Crockett theme song is playing through my head right now. I'm sorry.
I told him, I said, things are good. We got something to eat. We got something to eat. Now, you people probably won't, this is insane now. So I get home and I butcher everything. That night we had the birds, the family, we had the birds, broiled them up. We did have salt and pepper, so that was nice. We got to put some salt and pepper on the birds. And we ate the birds for dinner. I went out and I finished butchering the deer and had a bunch of deer steaks set aside, the loins. We took the loins and I made butterfly steaks out of the loins. And we're going to have butterfly venison steaks for dinner tomorrow. It's going to die. We're going to die and just eating that. Is it? Oh, but I said, now keep in mind, folks, eat all that you can, because we're only having 1 meal a day until this shit straightens out. And it's going to be 1 big meal. That's it. The kids were, yeah, okay, Dad. Yeah, okay. The kids were good with it, you know. So I come in the house. I'm putting all that meat in the fridge and freezer. I'm going, there we go. We got about, for a family of 6, we got about a week and a half's worth of meat, 2 weeks. We'll make it. And I hear a horn honking, and I walk out the house, and in our driveway is a station wagon parked there. That's before SUVs. There's a station wagon parked there. This fella gets out of the station wagon, and he's walking up to me, and I said, well, hello there. What can I do for you? And he goes, well, I'm hoping that we were right, and there's something we can do for you. And I said, what's that? He says, help me carry some things in your house. And he went to the back of that station wagon, and I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here? He's a salesman. He's going to haul some vacuum cleaner or some shit in my house, try to sell me shit. Well, if you'll take venison in exchange, yeah, maybe. But he opens the tailgate of that station wagon, and the whole back of that station wagon, he had the back seat folded down. The whole back of that station wagon, all the way up to the driver's seat, was full of grocery bags of groceries. Everything you would want in your house. all the seasonings, flour, sugar, yeast, all of the dry goods, macaroni, coffee, and then canned goods galore. And he had 4 bags of chicken and ground beef and pork chops. And I go, well, what the hell is this? And he goes, well, I'm from an area church. And I go, well, which church? And he goes, I'd rather not say, but I'm from an area church. And we got a phone call from somebody in Minnesota that they just had a gut feeling you were in need of groceries. So we took them for their word for it. They wired us the money to buy all these groceries for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I ain't taking that shit. I said, no, I do things on my own, man. I don't need that shit.
That sounds like you. Yep.
And this poor church member guy, he was almost in tears. He goes, but sir, you have to take it. It took me 2.5 hours to get all this at the store, get it in the car. And what am I supposed to do with it? If you're not going to take it, I said, give it to someone that needs it. He goes, but don't you need it? And I said, no, I got a whole damn deer I just put in the refrigerator. He goes, a deer? I said, well, yeah. And he goes, it ain't deer season. I said, it is if you're hungry. And it took him about 20 minutes of softly arguing with me about it. And it was when he said, plus, I got to tell you, I got 4 quarts of ice cream in a bag in there, and it's going to be ruined if you don't get it in the house and in your freezer. Well, I can't waste ice cream. So he got me. I caved in, said fine. We hauled all that fucking food in the house, and we ate like kings. I went to work 2 weeks later. Another 2 weeks later, that's 4 weeks out before I got my first paycheck, and I had a good job. I mean, the first paycheck made us flush. I mean, it was great. It was awesome. I got bears done on my truck tanks full, all the bills are paid. Yeah, money's coming in now. But we ate that whole month with what they brought us, and we ate like kings. And the ex-wife and I both agreed that don't ask why. Don't ask why. Sometimes when somebody gives, don't ask them. You know, if you want to say, oh, why me? Go ahead. And whatever they say, accept that. Just accept it. I almost turned away a full month's worth of groceries out of foolish pride. I would have fed my family, you're damn right. I mean, the day I went out, shot the deer and the 3 birds, I was an inch away because just a quarter mile in my house and property, I had 24 acres, was right on city limit boundaries. Just a quarter mile, my house up the road was a huge freaking dairy farm, and the guy was raising beef cattle also. He had beef cattle out there. I was going to go shoot myself a young steer and use my horse to drag it into the farm. We got beef, boys. But the penalty for shooting somebody else's steer is a lot higher than getting a poaching.
I was gonna say.
I took the lesser of the evils, and I had people say, but poaching is poaching, and I go, eating is eating. There's arguments both directions, and I don't support poaching, but God damn it, if you need to eat, go out there and get some food.
Survival is survival, I guess you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mean go rob a store for groceries and shit. Don't go loot. Don't shoplift. If you're nowadays, I don't give a shit who you are. Don't tell me you're fucking hungry and you're so poor and desolate. I don't want to hear that shit from anybody, even these homeless assholes. I've watched enough videos in the last 2 weeks on the homeless conditions. I concentrated on my state to start with. Then I started watching videos of other states. I'm watching people dealing with these homeless individuals, and these sons of bitches are walking around with a $1,500 to $1,800 cell phone, and they're bitching about how poor they are, and they're all strung out on meth. Do I feel sorry for them? Fuck no, I don't. Clean your act up, sell the frickin' phone, buy yourself some decent clothes, and get a goddamn job. That's plain and simple. Just plain and simple. If we don't start holding people responsible for themselves, they never will be. They never will be. There's nothing, you can't help a person become responsible. You can make them become responsible by saying, we ain't giving you shit until you clean your act up. Then we'll help you out. Because if you don't have skin in the game, I ain't helping you. I've had people come to me, I'm flat ass broke. I might have $200 in the bank and bills still to pay. And I've had people come to me and they tell me their situation and they're down and out, literally. But I don't care how down and out they are. I care about what have you been doing to get out of this? And they tell me all the efforts they've made to get themselves out of that fix. I peel off 100 of that 200, give it to them, and say, hey, will this help you out? Well, yeah. They don't know that I couldn't afford that $100. There's no way in hell I could afford it. I might have gotten a little bit hungry even that month, but I didn't give a shit. I won't be as down and out as they are right now. So I give them the $100 because they had skin in the game. They were trying to get out of that situation. They weren't just saying, give me. No. Amy Dibble says they can't sell the phone. They stole it. In a lot of cases, me Dibble, I'm sorry, but you're right. You're right. I watch these police videos, and so often they'll make an arrest, and their cell phones laying all over the ground. And, is this your cell phone? Yes. Is this your cell phone? Yes. Person's got 3 cell phones on them. They run the cell phones, and they all come back as stolen. Well, so none of them were their cell phone. They stole all of them. I mean, and what do? They could give them a signature bond for $250. Just sign here, and you got to come back to court in a month or 2 or 3, and then the court says we're going to dismiss the charges and put you on probation for 3 months or 6 months. That you can't get caught with a stolen cell phone again. You think they learned something from that? No. And that's like, oh, I had people say, oh, well, you want us to go out and slap their hands for it. And I go, I want them to get slapped like they got slapped in the 1960s, where you didn't want to use that hand for 4 or 5 hours after it got slapped. They damn near slapped your fingers off. Yeah, no. It's Marine Mom said that been there this last winter, thank God. Son shot a shot a deer while at home on leave for Christmas. That's happened to me in Montana too. The kids knew. I provided food for our family off of the outdoors. There was a period in time we accepted public assistance. I was put in a spot where I almost didn't have a choice because 3 of our children were with another family. And that's a lot of cost, throwing those 3 kids. And that other family had 5 children of their own. So now they got 8 mouths to feed. So we got on food stamps for our 3 kids. And that it was a whole family crisis thing. Running water was critically ill and blah, blah, blah. And I just didn't have the resources to cover everything. So we were forced, and I wasn't there to provide for those 3 kids at the time. So we come up with a way to provide for them out of necessity. But prior to that, everything came off the outdoors. I mean, elk, venison, fish.
Hey, Angie.
Hey, Angie.
How you doing, woman?
Good to see you. Awesome. But I just I was just one that why the hell should I get food stamps when I can just get in my truck and drive 3 miles down the road and feed my family for 3 weeks?
They'll actually pay up here for fishing and hunting stuff, like as part of public assistance.
So you can actually, now I've heard about that. There's like 3 states in the union that you can actually get, your state will pay for fishing equipment, fishing pole and bait and shit.
Yep.
And for hunting, I heard that in Alaska, they'll help you pay for ammunition and things you need to go out and hunt. And in Alaska, I love that about Alaska. They've got that sustenance rule that if you don't accept public aid, you have the right to go out and feed your family.
Yep.
See, now in Montana, they have that sustenance rule, and it hasn't been applied. That rule was passed in 1962. It was actually a statute, but it hadn't been applied. If you shot out of season, you're arrested for poaching. Boom, boom, boom. That's just the way they did it.
Yeah.
Until they tried to charge me with poaching. And then I got in front of the court and I threw that statute in the judge's face and said, read that law. And you show me where that's ever been rescinded or changed. He reviewed it. He looked at he says, you know what? The DNR is the one that sets the regulations on the hunting, including poaching and what your sentences will be and everything. He says, and that's regulation. I don't have any choice but to rule in your favor when the law says otherwise. He said, it's not a regulation. This was passed by Congress. It's a law, or by the legislature of the state of Montana. He said, I can't go against the law. And they ended up going against it anyway because I wasn't able to prove it was for sustenance. Asses. Yeah. Because they searched our trailer and found that we had all kinds of food in the trailer. Well, I wanted to keep it that way. Lots of food, but they didn't agree. They said I had more than enough food to sustain my family for over 30 days, that I wasn't hunting for sustenance. Well, and the thing is I wasn't hunting anyway. It was a goddamn roadkill that a deputy sheriff dispatched, shot in the head on the side of the road. That deer got hit in the head by a pickup truck, but it wasn't dead, and it was kind of thrashing around. So he shot it in the head. the body wasn't bruised or anything. I said, oh shit, I'm taking that deer. Those
See
guys
me,
slept.
Dibble? You got some people in the chat here.
Totally insane heart. Totally insane. I'm glad you're enjoying. I'm glad you're enjoying the. So me Dibble's leaving us, huh? Oh, you have a good day, me Dibble. Have a good week. I don't chat with you before. I'll be here next Sunday. But yeah, I've always been one. It's like I see all this homelessness in inner city, right? It's all in this inner city. And the only one I can strongly relate to, or the only cities I could strongly relate to, is Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Duluth, Minnesota. In every one of those cities, in half a day, you can have your ass into the suburbs. That's just half a day. Take the other half, set yourself up a tent, the tent you're living in on the streets downtown. Set your tent up, kick back, sleep, get up in the morning, and in another half a day, guess what? You're out, way out in the country. And there's lots of public lands. There's lots of places you can legally pitch your tent. And you can gather and feed yourself out there. You can probably even get your public services out there. But get the hell out of that pit, that city. Don't tell me you can't get out. I've had homeless people say, I'd get out of this city if I could, but how am I supposed to get out? I don't have a car. I'm homeless. I got nothing but my tent, my cardboard box. Well, grab your cardboard box or your tent and get the hell out of town. But I don't have no ride. You walk all over these city streets all day long, panhandling and pissing on the buildings and taking a dump in the alley. If you can use your legs all day long, wander around town begging, you can use them to pack up your tent and get your ass out of that downtown situation. So don't tell me you can't get out of that. You can't get out of that. You might be homeless, but you're homeless out where there's some reasonable people and resources that will help you. It's not that any small community wants. You don't find a small town and then go pitch your tent out front of their county courthouse either. No, you stay in the fringes on state and federal property. Learn to gather, learn how to survive, learn how to take care of yourself. And like I said, you can probably still go to the nearest town, get yourself a damn post office address, and then you can look it up on your $1,000 phone where your tent is sitting, and it'll give you a property ID number, and you can use that as an address, physical address. And I've had people say, oh, no, you can't. Well, the hell you can't. I got Starlink satellite to give me my satellite system on a piece of federal property. I don't own that. I don't rent it. I got no rights to that property. But that's where I was camping. So I gave them that property number. It came back right away. Accepted. It's a legitimate address. Because they could look it up and they find the property number. Yep. And he's got a P.O. box. And even if we don't send it to his P.O. box, but we send it to his physical address, it'll sit at the post office as general delivery until he picks it up. So don't give me this crap. I can't. Give me. No, you can. Go out there, earn it, and take it, and help yourself. Yeah, you can have a fire in the woods too. That's it. You set up camp. You have a nice campfire. You're warm. You're not living in a cardboard box over a city sewer vent. to stay warm. I would see that shit in downtown St. Paul, Minnesota. These guys with these refrigerator boxes, these big boxes that refrigerators come in. They cut the bottom, a big hole in the one side, and they flop it over these goddamn vents that are those vents. Everything in that city is running down in that sewer and running through there. That's the storm drainage system, and everything nasty is running through there. And you can see the steam coming out of them. And they're in a box over the top of that shit. And the city of St. Paul passed a city ordinance that they could not vacate a homeless person from one of those vents, because those vents are what helps them survive the cold weather. Oh, in other words, you're passing a law that says you can't stop those people from killing themselves no matter what. They can kill themselves by freezing to death, or they can kill themselves by living over that freaking gaseous vent. All you did was give them permission to go out there and kill themselves, to make themselves weak and sick. And that's what's wrong. You go out there and you say, no. I watched this video. I'm not kidding. And I watched this gal that it was a police intervention thing. And I'd never seen a cop as cool and collected as this guy. I mean, this guy was so kind to her. And he's actually at the point where he's begging her to comply, please. And he's making concessions, even to the point where, she was cuffed behind. I'll move your cuffs to the front. Had him to the front. And he kept telling her, if you comply and do this and that, I'll even take the cuffs off you. So she did. And you could tell. I wouldn't take cuffs off her. No way in hell. He took the cuffs off of her. And she got violent right away, instantly. Once they were off, she started scratching and trying to bite the cop, kicking him. The cop jumps on her, and he's trying to get her back in the cuffs.
Oh,
She's spitting in his face, and she's hacking him up. You can hear her. And after he gets her finally back under control, and he told her, he says, now you got a felony against yourself for spitting bodily fluids on me. He said, that's assault and battery. That's a felony. And she said, I never spit on you once. He goes, well, I think my body cam will probably say otherwise. She goes, is that camera pointing at your face? And you're watching the body cam. One time when and it was a real hawker, man.
oh, yeah.
And that goober landed right in the lens of his body cam, and it's running down the screen.
Oh, shite. What?
And she's saying, I never once spit at you. I never once spit at you. And there's like 5 cops out there, and he's handling it by himself. If he needs aid, he's got him if he needs them. And he finally gets her subdued in the car, and she turns and she looks at this female cop, and she goes, I'm going to sue every one of you. You all stood here and watched him rape me. And I'm like,
freaking heck.
I'm like, thank God I'm not in law enforcement. I would have grabbed her by the shirt, pulled her out, and bitch slapped her for even. How fucking dare you say that?
Drugs are bad.
Especially when you got 5 or 6 body cameras filming all of this, and you say that to this young man right in his face. You spit all over him, and that guy, she said, you all stood here and watched while he raped me. He leaned forward and he said to her, he said, very sorry that you're imagining such things. And he said, but I'll tell you what, I'm a good Christian man. He said, you're already making me do things I do not want to have to do. You're
Yeah.
forcing me to do these things. And he said, but there's no way that you could force me to want to rape you. That's just not even possible. And he said, and especially in front of 5 police officers. And she goes, well, you're all in on it. No. She wasn't on drugs. She tested negative on her blood test. Nothing in her system.
It's just
Nothing at all.
delusional.
It was just her. Just her.
It's evil.
And it's almost like it was the extremist, most extreme bipolarness, because that's it. He'd get her to calm down, everything's cool, and he'd try to make concessions to make her comfortable. But the minute she had freedom, click, boom, that evil shit would come back out.
Dang.
And she'd explode.
Duality.
Yeah.
Double-minded.
And I thought about that poor officer. She started screaming at him about how long you been on the police department, blah, blah, blah. He says, I've only been a police officer. I worked in the corrections in the jailhouse, he said, for 3 years. And then I became a police officer 18 months ago. And he says, because of this incident, I'm kind of wondering if it wasn't a bad choice. I don't blame him. I wouldn't do that I couldn't do that job. They put me in jail because some of them people need to be bitch slapped. How dare you do that? Spit in my face? I'll fucking knock your teeth out. I tell you, no, you don't want to spit in Sty's face. No, that ain't happening. I don't give a shit, man, woman, or kid. You ain't spitting in my fucking face. No, kid, what would I do? Bear hug that little bastard with his face facing away from me, and I'm holding on to you for the next 8 fucking hours. How do you like that shit, boy? Spit in my face. You ain't doing it. A woman spits in my face? No. On the ground she goes. She's restrained. Get some cops here to take her, because I'm not going to be assaulted by anybody. And here I'm watching that shit, and that cop took so many fucking literal assaults. And he tried so hard, even after being assaulted, to try to comfort her and take care of her. And so when these people start yelling, bad cop, not all of them, not all of them, some of them, I hate it because I'm sitting there going, dumb cop. But actually he's being smart. But to me, it was dumb cop. I would have fucking bitch slapped her. No way in hell, spit in my face like that. Purposely hack up the biggest goober you can and spit it right in my face. No. And she ended up with 7 counts of battery because they identified 7 times she actually hit him in the face. 7 separate spitting events on that same cop. And you watch that video right up to when he got her into jail and they were put processing her and he was done. He said, he told her, he says, I hope things work out well for you. And with all these additional charges, I don't know if you're going to be able to bond out or not, but he says, I hope you can, and you can get out and get back to your life. And he says, but I have to leave now. I got to do the paper. She turned around and she goes, you go to hell, you rapist. And he walked away just shaking his head like, oh, what the hell? And I thought, oh, I would have resigned the next day. I can't do this shit. How they do it, I don't know. Marine Mom says, I can deal with blood, but not spit. I figure if I get blood on me, if I'm handling somebody that's thrashing or something and they're bleeding and that blood splats on me, I don't consider that an assault, that was just an inconvenient consequence of dealing with that. But when somebody intentionally takes any bodily fluid and puts it on your face, that all deals are off if it's intentional. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't be a cop, is because I do have triggers and PTSD, and I'm likely to freak out in a situation like that. So that's why it would make a horrible cop.
You end up being the perpetrator.
Tasmanian devil. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to maintain myself.
I've been in some really bad situations in my life, and I mean very intense. And
yeah, boring. Different subject.
yeah, because isn't that insane though? How you get on this type of subject, and it can really
rolling from topic to topic, just kind of bouncing from different.
It's just, and this type of topic is one of those that, it just irritates you right to the bone, and you want to keep saying something about it, but it just gets worse and worse and worse, because there's no good in that kind of shit.
Spit on me.
Again,
pinch your arm.
Yeah. That's funny too, because I watched one video where this gal kept pinching the officers.
Oh gosh!
Every time they try to do something with their cuffs or something, she'd try to get up their wrist a ways, and she'd pinch like a son of a bitch. And this poor gal that was handling her, the officer, they took pictures of. Oh. She had like 15 huge pinch marks on her arms from this gal pinching her, and she had one on her face. You could see the finger and the thumb mark on her face, and I mean that's only like a half hour after she was pinched, and it's so, oh my God, I wonder what that looked like a couple days later. Her whole cheek, I bet you, turned black and blue from that pinch. And the gal didn't kick, didn't fight. But as soon as a cop got themselves near her hands, she's gonna pinch your ass. That's all she did was pinch, and she got assault charges for that. So watching these 1 to 300 mile races, I would love to do one, but need to stop smoking first. Holy shit.
If you're serious about quitting, though, I like these nicotine pouches. Yeah, if you really want to quit smoking, I always say
those aren't prescription, right?
No, you buy them at the gas station or wherever. Zyn pouches. Yeah, little nicotine pouches. This is 3 milligram. They have 6 milligram, and they go up in milligram. But these are the lowest. But they're this is peppermint. They have cinnamon, spearmint, wintergreen. All kinds of different flavors.
I might look for those. Yeah. Might look for those just to cut down my smoking.
Yeah, they're where you buy same place you buy your cigarettes. They'll have these nicotine pouches. They have different brands too, but I do like the Zyns best. The other ones are kind of powdery. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't eat. Stick it in your lip, like right here.
Yeah. You just suck
like
on it,
just like you would a chew. Don't leave it in for too long though, because it can make you nauseous. Just like put it in to just like satisfy the craving, and then take it out when you're done.
Yeah.
They work pretty good.
I can't wait for tomorrow to talk to my doctor. Well, I won't talk to the doctor because I don't actually have a doctor's appointment, just infusion. But the infusion nurses are great. If I tell them this or that happened last week and I don't want that shit happening again, they're right on the phone or on the computer, and they get right a hold of the doctor right then and there. And it's like, wow, shit. Okay, it's like getting a doctor visit without having to pay the doctor. But I'm supposed to be on prednisone, which is a anti-inflammatory steroid. And why? Because it helps with the neuropathy, because it stops any swelling that can trigger your nerves reacting. And with the chemotherapy I'm on, it tends to swell the glands in your throat, your neck, and you'll end up with swelling in your esophagus, your throat, and it can make it hard to swallow. Well, this last week, the only side effect I had this last week is I lost some more of my beard. Pissed me off. But I've lost some of my taste. My taste buds have gone to hell for certain types of foods. And I've got really bad neuropathy in my mouth. My tongue and my cheeks feel like they're just skewered with pins. Pins and this nasty, stinging constantly, 24/7. And I got the swollen glands, and I can swallow, but it's difficult, Well, on the prednisone I had the week before, I had those same symptoms for 2.5 days. They were slow. They screwed up my prescription from the clinic, didn't get it to the medicine shop where I get my meds. Medicine shop said, no, we never got the script, so we can't give it to you unless we have a script. And I said, what the hell? I said, I just saw the doctor yesterday, and they said they were sending it over. I could pick it up that afternoon, yesterday. And now I come here today, and it's that you haven't even received it? They said, no, we're going to fax them. I said, I'll be back tomorrow. I came back the next day. They came right up the counter with a piece of paper, and they said, here, look. I looked at it. It's a copy of the fax they sent to the clinic. And they said, we still haven't gotten a response. I said, that's bullshit. I got on the phone, called the clinic, and I had to go through 3 people. I got a hold of one of the nurses on the floor finally, and I told her what was going on. I'm supposed to take prednisone the day after I have my chemo, and I'm supposed to take it for 3 days in a row, and that'll cover me for the week having neuropathy and swelling in my throat. Mm-hmm. She said, you'll have your prednisone real quick. Don't worry about it. She says, if they don't give it to you today, call me back. I said, okay. She got a hold of my doctor. Doctor called the pharmacy. I was heading out the door. I said, I'll be back later this afternoon. Give you guys some time to fill it. And the gal comes running around. And she goes, wait, don't go anywhere. And she's got the pill bottle. She says, we got it. We got it. So they did me well,
Yeah.
This
we already
week,
put this guy through enough.
Yeah.
Give him his prednisone.
This week, I go in there. I needed my insulin and my prednisone. They said, we can't give you the insulin because you have no refills. That pissed me off. I said, wait a second. Back. I ran out to my truck because I brought the package of my last prescription in. And I said, what's it say at the bottom here? It says 2 more refills.
Yeah.
All the way out to 2024. So I want my refills. It says I've got 2 more coming. They said, well, what we mean by you don't have any refills is this medicine shop was bought by somebody else. I said, I know, it's got a new owner. And they said, the federal government said, we can't bill anything out for Medicare because those contracts belong to the owner. He's the new owner. So he has to get all new contracts for every med he wants to charge to Medicare. And they said they told us it could take 60 to 90 days. And she said, and we're not going to give it to you and charge you retail on it because it's almost $500. It's over $500. And I said, well, I got to have my insulin. I got enough to make it 24 hours, and then I got no insulin. And guess what? Without my insulin, I have blood sugars in the 500 to 700 range. It'll flop my ass right in the hospital.
Yeah.
And she said, hold on. I'll get your insulin squared away. This gal's working on your prednisone. I'll get your insulin squared away. She runs. She comes back within about 2 minutes, and she says, got it squared away. Medicine shop in Menominee. I go, Menominee? That's almost 3 fucking hours from here. She goes, yeah, that I know. But the medicine shop in Menominee is working with them. And they're going to accept any prescriptions that we can't charge to Medicare. They're going to accept those for you and fill them there in Menominee. I said, I ain't driving to Menominee, 3 hours away, 6 hours round trip. Bullshit. She goes, no. And she walks to the fridge and she pulls out my insulin. She says, see this? This is yours. You're taking this home with you right now.
Yeah.
And one of the gals behind the desk said, I got the label. It's done. And they slapped the label on it. She comes over and hands it to me. She says, you're good to go. And I go, don't I have to sign for that? She goes, no, not today.
Yeah,
She
you've
said-
been through enough.
You're supposed to sign for that in Menominee. She said, and Menominee says, yeah, we just forwent the signing. We're just going to say, yeah, unable to sign today. It's not a controlled substance. So, but on the prednisone, I could have I was ballistic. When I walked in the door and asked for my insulin prednisone and they said they can't be filled, that one gal cleared that insulin thing up right away. The other gal's just ripping her hair out, and she shows me the fax back to the clinic because they never received the prescription. I pulled up on the phone. I've got what they call my chart. It shows everything that clinic does to me or for me. Every appointment I have to be at, everything. It shows my med list and when I'm supposed to take it, and when it's prescribed. I pulled it up and I said, look at this. What does that say? And she goes, prednisone. I go, yeah. See? Prescribed by the doctor. She goes, but we never received the prescription. And she says, here's the fax. We faxed them this morning and still haven't heard back. So she said, I hate to even say it, but to be safe, can you come back tomorrow early afternoon? And we should have it resolved by then. We're doing everything we can because we can't give it to you unless it's prescribed. So, okay, I'll be a day off, right? I showed up the next day and she said, she shows up with 2 sheets of paper and she says, look, that's the fax we sent out on Tuesday. This is Wednesday's fax. We're constantly trying to contact. We tried to contact them by phone 5 times, and all we get is voicemail for the prescribing person. Well, I find out the prescribing person is this nurse practitioner that works with my doctor. And I asked, is she the prescriber for the last week's? So they went and looked it up. They go, yeah, she was the same prescriber. So 2 weeks in a row, she just didn't send it in. They said, obviously, we didn't receive it. So I checked with them on Thursday. Now, I was supposed to already have taken 2 doses of this shit. Thursday was supposed to be my 3rd and last dose. You take 3 doses a week. And I thought, okay, so Thursday, Friday, and Saturday I'll get to take it. And then I'll just 1 day without it, and I'm right back for my chemo. Why even take it? I mean, the benefits of it, it's too late. Well, So I go back in there on Thursday thinking I'll get it today because they're going to try again. Now she comes to me with 5 pages, all faxes to the clinic. They're running a bumper to bumper. The last 3 is bumper to bumper, making damn sure they've got it. No response. No response from that doctor at all. I said, I showed you my chart. She's prescribed it at that visit, but yet we can't get the prescription. And I felt bad for the gals at the medicine shop because really there's nothing they can do about it, you know. And I said, well, that means I'm fucked for the rest of the week. I have to deal with this neuropathy and the hard swallowing and shit. I said, I'll still eat. I still love to eat. I said, but damn it. I don't like suffering if I don't have to. And the prednisone helps. It helps. And now here I got someone that's supposed to be looking out for my welfare fucking off on the job. So I can't wait for it till tomorrow to tear into the. I won't tear into the nurses. I'm just going to tell them what happened and what went on. And I know they're going to get a hold of Dr. Wiseman, my primary cancer doctor. He'll be a little shocked. And he'll probably want to do a video chat. And I want to tell him flat out, oh, no, wait a minute. He's actually going to be on site there tomorrow. So he might even sneak in to talk to me. But when I see him eye to eye, I'm going to tell him, you asked me if I was okay with your assistant helping you out and seeing me about every other visit. I'm taking that back.
Yeah.
I'm taking it back. No, I don't agree with it.
I'd like to change my answer. Yeah.
I do not want to. I like the lady. She's got good bedside manner. She's very pleasant to talk to, but she can't do her damn job, obviously.
That sucks.
Marine Mom's trying to get her AC going. Don't even say that, Marine Mom. Last fall, I had my surgery in August, and it wasn't until the end of October where I felt where I could have anything even touching my chest or the side of my torso. In October, I decided I could get that air conditioner the hell out of that window so I can button that window up for the winter. I got it out of the window, all right, out of the window and right onto the floor. And just before Christmas, I'm sitting there watching a Christmas special on TV, and I'm going, that fucking air conditioner in the middle of my living room. I got to get that fucker out. It took me 20 minutes to get that fucking air conditioner from my living room, less than 25 feet, to our back porch. I mean, I tried carrying it. I even had the cord. I was dragging it by the cord. I just couldn't do it. I mean, the pain was killing me. And I looked in our back porch, and it was accessible. There's our 2-wheel dolly, our cart. I've come right through the house with that fucking cart. You're going out now. I shoved that under the sumbitch, got it on that cart, and wheeled it the last 20 feet to the back porch. Now, here we are. By the end of June, even here in Wisconsin, I'm going to want it back in the window. I think I'm going to make running water, put it in there. Fuck that shit. I tell you what, it'll take me a half hour to get it in here, and then it'll take me a week to get it up into that window. I'll have to put a stool or something there, get it up on that stool, take a couple days off, and relax, and then get it up onto a small table. And then from there, I'll get it up on my PlayStation 5 cabinet I've got. I'll get it up on that. And then on the seventh day, instead of resting, I'll open the damn window and get it in the window. Yeah, I ain't God, so I don't get to rest on Sunday. You know. I'll never forget that. My grandpa used to say that. We'd always go to visit him because he was a cool guy to hang out with on a Sunday afternoon. And go there and you're chatting away. And why don't you kids go find somewhere else? Go. I got things I got to get done. I got work to do. Grandpa, it's Sunday. You don't work. You're not supposed to work on Sunday. He goes, oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. I am not God. Only God gets to take Sunday off. He created the world and everything in it in 6 days, and he took the seventh day off. And it was people that said, we should copy God. But we're not God. He says, no, you got to work every day. You don't get on. No, there ain't no seven. Don't give me this on the seventh day shit. I heard that so many times as a kid growing up from him. No, you got to work every day, you know. And I argued with him as I got older about, well, if you got a real job and you work for 5 days a week, and then on Saturday you spend working around the house, the yard, whatever, and then Sunday you spend with your family, why should you work at all on Sunday? And he said, because there's still shit that needs to be done around the house and out in the yard and shit. Don't tell me you're ever done. Life isn't done till you're dead. I said, okay, Grandma. You could have won the argument with him. That old fart wanted to work 7 days a week. Yeah, well, good for you, Grandpa. You have at it, you know. Yeah. And as kids, we'd laugh about the way we'd get about us bothering him on a Saturday or a Sunday because he's got work to do. We'd still hang out and chat like mad at him, and he'd keep doing his work, and he'd put up with us still hanging out and chatting with him. But he always reminded us, you shouldn't be bothering me. I'm working. I liked it when he got to the point where he couldn't do much anymore. And he became, we called him the lawn ornament. My brother called him our garden gnome. Because
That's cute, though.
he had a lawn chair, a metal tulip back, old metal green lawn chair. I got two of them out on the porch just like it from way back in the 1960s. He had that son of a bitch sitting between two of the most beautiful wild rose bushes you ever seen that we had in our backyard. And he had that chair right between the two of them. And he'd sit there when he couldn't work anymore, just couldn't do that shit anymore. He'd sit there in that chair for a solid 8 hours a day. He was always there. And with our little family dog, a little terrier, she was right there beside him almost all the time. Yeah, the old boy, he just, I can't work anymore, but I can guard these rose bushes. And I tell you what, you'd go up and you just wanted to smell the roses. You go up to smell those roses. Don't be touching them. Don't be touching them. You can look, you can sniff, but don't touch them. Grandpa, they're my mom's, not yours. Oh, my ass. Don't you be touching my rose bush. Okay. Hey, Dr. Smith, great to see you.
Hey,
Great to see you. There's another one that popped in last night and hung out in the chat. I like it today. My doctor's appointment tomorrow is later in the morning, 11 o'clock. So I'm not in a hurry today. Whatever I do today, I do. I got no time limits. I got no, I got to get the hell out of here because I got to get to bed by 8 o'clock or I won't get up. I hate those appointments that I got to shake it out at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm retired. I don't want to get up that goddamn early. This morning was a bitch. I mean, I stayed up so damn late last night. I can't believe I managed to stay up so late. I didn't go to bed till 3 o'clock this morning. I didn't get up until 10. I got up at 10 and I'm like, holy shit, where did the time go, man? 7 hours. Whew! God, just quick. Okay, shit, I guess. I hope that machine, my CPAP machine's not lying to me. Because I'll take nothing below 7 hours. And I've had the longest I've had since I had my cancer surgery. The longest I had was 11 hours and 45 minutes of sleep in a 24-hour period. And I've had a few that were in the 11-hour mark. Those days, it felt so good. But talk about freaking lazy the following day, man. I mean, you sleep that long, your body says, don't do nothing. You haven't done nothing for 11 hours anyway. Why do something now, you know? Son of a bitch. Yeah. But I'm determined this week. I'm going to be outdoors doing a few things. In fact, I did that this morning. The GoPros are all, anything that was left on was downloaded, cleared off, and got the GoPro batteries all charged up today. Every one of these little bastards. And I'll tell you what, these GoPro batteries, I love the GoPro. But these batteries, they scare the shit out of me. This one, I can feel a little bit. But I had 2 of them. I had 9 of these damn batteries. 2 cameras, figure 4 a piece and 1 to boot. Gave me, 4 times 2, 8. Gave me about 12 hours of recording per camera with the amount of batteries I had. So that's 24 hours of actual record time. So I like it. But these batteries, and I got online, checked it out. Oh yeah, my suspicions were right. I had 2 of them that were swollen. And I mean, you could look and you could see the seam around the top of them is pulled apart. And you squeeze it and it's kind of mushy. And I went to put it in the charger. And I reached way over to the charger, stand as far away and drop it in and say what happened. I couldn't. It wouldn't fit. It's too bulged. So, yeah, they went in the trash. But,
bummer.
But that scared shit out of me. What the hell? My battery's swelling up like that. What if one of them got swollen like that in the camera? I'm going to have to use a goddamn pliers to try to get it out.
Or it might turn on into a transformer on you and start fighting. Spitting bullets at you and shit.
Yeah. I got people chasing me around the backyard. Little bastard.
Little robot camera.
The other one's on a goddamn tripod. Now I got a 3-legged GoPro chasing my ass, Yeah. Funny you go there because Transformers, I always got a kick out of that shit. I got this tiny little fucking Camaro, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it transforms, and it's this huge fucking robot.
Yeah.
Where did they get all of those extra parts to fucking be that big?
I know.
I mean, come on. A Camaro, I could see it being maybe 10 feet tall and beefy, or 14 feet tall and slanky and thin. But when the son of a bitch is almost 20 feet tall, and you can tell just by looking at it, it's got to weigh 10 tons. Where did it get all that extra shit?
I don't know.
Marine mom, yay, got it going. She's got her air going. Lori, you need to start screaming at me if you know I'm listening to the show at the beginning and you haven't heard from me. Well, I passed out on the show. Hey, don't worry about it, Lori. This is no kidding, Lori.
Yeah,
I
crock
had-
pots are awesome. I wish I had one still. Mine broke. I need to get one.
Oh my God. How can
Yeah,
you
she's
live
talking
without
about crock pots. Yeah. Oh, mine broke a
Oh,
while back. But I'm gonna get one. I've been looking at Value Village and keeping my eye out because you can get them for cheap there.
yeah. Now, back when I was married, the last, actually, it was the last house I had leased. It had a beautiful home. Boy, God, that place is beautiful. Old Victorian place with stained glass windows and shit.
Oh,
You could,
shite.
the place was fucking beautiful. People talk about these old school houses that 10-foot ceilings. This house had a 12-foot ceilings on the main floor. Had a big, huge formal dining room. Had a huge freaking living room. I mean, that at one time I had 23 people. We were all sitting in our living room. That's how big our living room was. It was an awesome house. Well,
Yeah.
I like to entertain and I like to cook. So I'd have pizza parties. I had 2 ovens in the place, so I could pound out 4 pizzas at a time. And I get all the fixings put together, get all of the pizza crust laid out, and have all my guests come in, make their own damn pizza. You do the fixing, I'll do the cooking. All the fixings were laid out there, however you want your pizza made. And people loved it, man. They come over and oh shit, I heard about this. I want to come. Okay, you can come over. We're going to do it Saturday night. I'd have between 10 and 15 people show up for my pizza night when I do them. And they all walked away saying, I'm coming back, man. Not without invitation, because I don't want 30, 40 fucking people here, Well, then I would do like we did one where we did Italian sausages, sausage sandwiches, and barbecue pulled pork, and 3 varieties of hot wings, and then 1 conventional deep fried wings. And people are going, how in the hell can you do all this? Well, at that time, and then we got all the side fixes, of course, mashed potatoes and gravy and all this shit and all that. How do you do this? Well, I've got 2 steam tables, 3 containers per table. I've got 14 crock pots. I said I've got a table grill. I've got 2 ovens and stovetops. What's the big deal? I damn near have a commercial kitchen. But the crock pots, man, I was so anal about my crock pots. My own family. Oh, Dad, can I borrow a crock pot? We got this girl, we got a baby shower. No, you can't. You want to borrow $20 and go to Walmart and buy a cheap one? Well, I don't want to buy one. I just want to borrow. Well, then fuck you. I don't give a shit. You ain't touching my crock pots. No. I had that set that had 3 2-quart crock pots all in one base. And you could have 1 crock pot set on high, 1 set on low, the other on medium. And you could have 3 different things cooking at once in that big unit. Oh, fuck, I love that. I love that unit. That's what I usually would throw the 3 varieties of the hot wings in. So that set of 3.
You will
but-
fake Katsuha.
Oh, looky here.
Katsuha. You always say that wrong.
I pronounce it Kutsa. When it comes to native languages and names, I look at it this way. It's all fair game. pronounce it whatever way you want because it probably ain't going to be right. I'm working with the Ojibwe for 27 years. I got to the point where I was picking up some of their language. I couldn't speak it worth a shit, and they'd laugh at me. So I gave up. I said, I'm not even going to try to speak the language anymore. But I'd have traditional natives that would speak in Ojibwe with each other, and I could pick up 60 to 80% of the conversation, what they're saying. And that kind of irritated them. They said, some bitch understands what we're saying, but he can't talk it back. And oh, well, at least I know what you're saying. It took a while. And I like to play with their language because their language is pretty unique. And for a man's manhood, they like to use the word pajagat for that. Well, my tribal chairman in Bad River, when I worked there, we had a nastiest damn blizzard you ever seen. I lived 16 miles from there. It was a bitch to get to work in a 4-wheel drive Jeep. I barely got there, and I got there being an executive. If they don't call me and say we're shut down, then I'm going to be there. So I get there, and there's kind of a skeleton crew there, and people are filtering in. They're filtering in because nobody got called that the tribal offices are shut down for the weather. And here comes the tribal chairman through the door. And he goes, I don't want to hear it. Well, here he's got one of these blue plastic sleds, little toboggan,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got his briefcase and a bunch of other shit on it. And he's dragging it right into the tribal offices. The gal at the front desk goes, Eugene, come on, call it so I can get a hold of employees and tell them, don't even try to come in here. She said, they're saying it's going to keep coming down like this right through the whole day. Even if they can make it, we don't know that they can make it home. And he goes, no, we're not shutting down. He says, I was able to get in here, so there's no excuse for them not to get here. Well, okay, so he shows up with all of his office stuff in a toboggan, right? I thought it'd be funny. And right in front of about 15, 20 tribal members, I tell our tribal chairman, hey, Eugene, I understand, but just because you pulled your pajagan all the way to work doesn't mean we should have to do that. Well, like I told you, pajagan is a man's tool, his manhood. So I told my boss he shouldn't be pulling his pajagan all the way to work and expect us to do the same. Guess what? They closed the tribal offices instantly. He says, that's it, call it. We're shut down. And he gave me the old come with me, shake of the finger. I followed him to his office, closed the door. And later I talked to staff out on the main floor, said, oh, we could hear him laughing. The minute that door closed, he didn't even make it to his desk, and he burst out laughing. He says, damn it, that was too good. He said, that was too good. You caught me red-handed. That was so good. At least my boss had a good sense of humor. He was a good man. I adored the guy. But you tell at that time, he was about 10 years older than I am. And at that time, he was in his 60s. And I told him that he shouldn't be pulling his pajagan on the way to work. and now that's a good boss when he laughs about it. He says, you got me red-handed there. He says, I can't say anything against it. He said, I had that one coming. And I said, well, yeah, you had that one coming because I'm not native. I don't speak the language. So I just made a linguistic mistake. That's all. I said, I think they understood what I meant. He goes, oh, they sure did. They know you well enough to know what you meant. I said, oh, shut up. You know? Yeah, he was a great boss. He was a great boss. I got to read this. My mother used to make English muffin pizzas and tell us the same thing. She would do the English muffins and everything else, but she told us we were to put our own on with the top things. That's it. I mean, and when I would do those pizza parties, those people are just like, oh my God, can I try a piece of yours? Can I try a piece of yours? Because of all the different approaches people took. Some of them, Jesus Christ, they had a couple pounds of cheese on them, you know, and some of them had so much sauce on them that I'd throw a goddamn oven pan that you put at the bottom to catch any drippings. I'd put one right under their pizza because the damn sauce is running off the damn thing. And I saw pizzas, I'm just like, holy shit. Yeah, okay. They've probably never made one for themselves before. And it was hilarious. So it was hilarious. I never had one. That was nice. A nice thing about it. Never had one where their pizza wasn't edible. I mean, they all tasted good, but some of them just looked like it scraped it out of the bottom of a garbage can. I mean, what in the hell you got on that? You know, and how did you do it? You know, I ran a pizza joint, and there's a method to the madness in making a pizza. Technically, in the pizza arena, pepperoni always goes on top of the cheese. Do you know why that is? It's because of all of the grease in that pepperoni. Now, this is something that most people don't know. Most pepperoni pizzas, when they're made, when they come out of the oven, they get what we called mopping. They get mopped before they're sent out to the customer because that pepperoni will curl up like a cup and it'll be full of grease right up to the top. You go to cut that pizza that way and that grease is over everything, the cheese, everything. So you mop it. And what we did was we used these huge, they were huge. They're bigger than a standard bath towel. Terry cloth, sterile towels. It wasn't cheap to have those. And every pizza that had pepperoni on the top of it got mopped. You throw the towel over the pizza and you pat it, and it sucks all that grease right off of the pepperoni. You just peel that towel off, and it goes into a container next to the prep table. And now you cut the piece and send it out. Well, on a normal night for us, I'd have 75 to 100 of those towels in that bin, and that bin would weigh, each one of those towels weighed about a pound with all the grease that was in them. And believe it or not, our linen service was able to take those towels and they come back sparkling white, all individually wrapped, sealed, because they had to be sanitary for us to use it on food. And it worked great. It worked great. And when people come to our pizza parties, I'd watch them fix their pizzas, and I'd go, oh no, they got tons of pepperoni under all these other fixings. Well, they're going to get a mouthful of grease. Yeah, they're going to be shocked. And, oh yeah, they'd say, yeah, it was a little greasy. It's because you put your pepperoni under the goddamn cheese. If you put it on top, we would have mopped it and you wouldn't have had all that grease. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a method to the madness. A lot of them were shocked when they'd see me because I'd have my pizza boards. I had 4 of them. I'd have them set up with the crust on them, and a lot of them would go, "What's all this stuff on the board?" Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Just you're to put stuff on the crust. Don't touch anything on that board. Well, what is that stuff? It's multi-meal. What? Yeah. We call it in the pizza industry gravel. Some people use cornmeal. A lot of people use multi-meal because it's better than cornmeal actually. And it acts like little ball bearings under the crust, and the crust will slide right off that board, just right into the oven. When it's done, stick the board under it. It never sticks to the surface of the oven because it's got gravel under, what we call gravel under it. Yeah, little tricks that were pretty interesting that people never thought of. Yeah, with the English muffin ones, cut them up, and each person could possibly have a small piece to see how it came out. Yeah, here's the experimental one. This is the test one. I get it. Yeah, Lori, you mentioning that, I'm like, oh shit. And I'm thinking in my mind, no, I ain't got no English muffins in the other room. God damn it. Now I've seen people do it with bagels too, and that's cool. The only problem is I never have plain bagels at my house. The only bagels I eat are sometimes the herb and onion, but 99% of the time is blueberry muffins or bagels, and the only way I eat those is if I have smoked salmon cream cheese put on them.
Oh yeah, that stuff's good.
I'm addicted, and in fact, last night I had one, and I was so disappointed. I enjoyed it, but after my meal, I had that as a go to bed snack. Nice baked bagel, salmon cream cheese. The disappointing part is these are awesome blueberry bagels that are made locally, and they got huge blueberries in them, and it tastes so blueberry-ish, I couldn't taste the fucking blueberries.
Oh man.
I was able to taste the smoked salmon, and I'm going, okay. It's acceptable. But if I couldn't taste the smoked salmon, but I could taste the blueberry, no, I wouldn't have liked that. That would ruin it for me.
Yeah.
And people say smoked salmon is, hey girl, I just saw that message.
Yeah. I just now put it up.
Okay, sweetie.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
No, thank you for being here. Oh, I'm not kidding. Between you and Veronica, my palliative nurse, and Gemma. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't see Gemma today, but I'll tell you what. There's certain people that get me through the week.
Bless you.
Just keep that in mind, girl. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think of you every day. I think of you. So the day that goes by, I don't go, oh, I hear something or see something. I'll go, oh, I wonder what Samantha would think of that. It's become just natural for me. Yeah.
Yeah, you're one of my favorite people, so I appreciate you. All right, you guys have fun. I hate leaving you alone, but I did.
Well, I'm going to wrap it up here in about 6 minutes anyway. So, You know,
All right, cool.
you bet you love.
I'll be in the chat. I'll see you soon.
See you again.
Okay.
Love
Bye.
you, sweetie.
Much love, peeps.
Yeah. There. Now, there must be something wrong with my camera. It don't look so good on my screen anymore. Just some old bastard sitting in the middle of the screen here. Where'd that pretty girl go, right? I used to get chewed out a couple years ago. I'd do live streams. I'd have a full panel. I'd have 5 or 6 guests up with me. Every one of them pretty girls, you know, young ladies. And these guys would pop in the basement and I'd pull them up. And I shuffled. I put the pretty girls around me. You know. It's my stream. Yeah, I'll make that choice. Well, these fellas would, why in the heck are you getting all these beautiful ladies hanging around with you, Sty, you old fart? I said, I don't know. I said, I've never been able to figure it out. I said, but it's all good. I don't have a problem with it. I got no problem with it at all. Same thing in my career. 27 years as an executive for 2 different tribal organizations. And then as an independent property manager for 3 years after that. All 3 of those positions, if you looked at my staff, who I hired all of my staff. The first tribe I worked for, 21 employees in my specific department. Now, I oversaw many more employees than that, but those 21 were in my direct control on a daily basis, every day. 21 staff. Only one of them was a male, was a man. So I had 20 women and 1 guy working in my department. Well, I did the same thing in the next tribe I worked for, Bad River. I had 18 staff. Out of the 18 staff, there were 2 guys. Both of those guys were there prior to me coming on. And of the 16 women that were working in that department, I hired 10 of them. 6 of them were carryovers from prior administration that I said, yeah, keep them. They're good people. I always hired women. I worked well with them. They worked very well with me. I don't know. And it wasn't because I had a preference for working for women. But like with the first tribe I worked for, when we put out the notice, we're going to hire 21 people. Man, everybody was flying in there. They wanted those jobs. They're good paying jobs, good positions. So I have the personnel manager get a hold of me and say, Sty, this is kind of odd. I said, what? What's so odd? We've got so many applicants. We've got about 60 applicants. And I said, wow. But no, what's odd is 58 of them out of the 60 are female. There's only 2 guys. Oh. Wonder why. Well, by the time we went through and we started doing the actual hiring, it worked its way up. Ended up with 5 guys applying for one of the positions. And as far as the women go, I believe the top number was 64 I think it was 64 women. So that would be 69 applicants. And I'm sorry, the 5 guys, they didn't cut the mustard. They just didn't. And I interviewed each and every one of them with a hand-selected interview panel. I made sure they all had a background in finance and everything. So I had a collaborative agreement on who should be put in what position. And it was unanimous on all the guys. They didn't answer the questions. They didn't have enough of even the basics. Their resumes look great. But I'm sorry, the guys, we gave each applicant the exact same aptitude test and knowledge-based test on basic accounting, because that's what they're going to be doing. You're handling finance. I want to know you understand finance on the most basic level. You don't have to be up here and understand finance. That's what they hired me for, is to be up here. I'm hiring you to be down here. And if I need you to come up closer to my level, I'll help you do that. But if you're already up here in the middle somewhere, you'll probably get one of the jobs. Well, these guys were all below the basic level of accounting, understanding, and finance. So I couldn't hire any of the 5 guys. The one guy we did finally hire was a position we posted later, and he became our payroll manager, and he handled our Department of Human Resources. But who worked with him? Who was his assistant? A female. And he asked me, I would do things for my staff right out of my own pocket. I paid for it. We'd have a big picnic or a barbecue. I'd tell all my staff, show up. Bring your spouses if you want. Show up. And they would. And it was kind of interesting, because about half of the women were married, half of the women weren't. Well, the one guy and I, we're both married, happily married at the time. He'd come to me and he'd say, I just don't know what to say sometimes. I go, what do you mean? He said, they're all women, and it's all women talk. I go, have you watched me? I'm having conversations with all of them. I don't understand why you can't have a conversation and enjoy yourself. Well, I can't, it's all women. I said, women can't have conversations? What the hell's the matter with you? And he actually learned from me that, just quit with the stereotyping crap. These gals are sharp, they're smart, they're your equal when it comes to your job, and you can have very good conversations with them. I said, I love my conversations with my staff. I get to find out about their social life, their family life. I get to find out what they're going through in life. Are they having a good time? Everything's going good? Or are they having troubles in life? Because if I know those things, and I get to know them personally to a limited degree, then I also know when their job behavior changes, it must be something in their life that changed. That beautiful, happy marriage might be going a little south or something because her job performance changed. So I would interview her and bring her in my office and have a discussion, ask her, is there anything in your personal life that's kind of gone amok? It's just not going right? I never had one of those gals ever say, That ain't none of your business. They always would say, no, everything's cool. Everything's cool. But I got this issue. Oh, okay. Let's talk about that issue. Maybe I can help you work it out. Or they'd say, yeah, you're right. Yeah, the home life has gone to shit. It's not. So I would tell them, hey, knowing that, when you come to work, look at it this way. Work is 30% of your life for 5 days a week. You're coming in here and you're spending 8 hours with us. And then you go home and you spend 16 hours with your family. And you get to come back and spend 8 with us 5 times a week. I said, now you're 16 hours. You go home. 8 hours of that is dealing with your family and blah, 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 and your issues. And then you get 8 hours of sleep that you don't deal with it. And you get to come here. And everybody here is on your side, wants to help you out, wants you to be happy. So look at it that way. We get a third of your time, and your family gets a third of your time. Don't ignore your children. If you have trouble with your children, that's a whole different discussion. But if you're having marital issues, sometimes you have to just get away from those issues and use us to do that. Oh my gosh. My staff would just, oh, that's such good advice, blah, 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 blah. Well, I didn't tell them. It's from life's experience. I made a lot of mistakes before I got shit right. And in my humble opinion, I didn't end up divorced from my wife until I got my mindset right. Sometimes you just have to say the best thing to do is the worst thing you would want to do. But it needs to be done so that I can move on and be happy. Sometimes things can be resolved simply. Sometimes you just have to say, no, we gotta wrap it up and say, no, I ain't doing this no more. But I didn't want that crap. To them personally, that wasn't crap, that was life. But I didn't want that part of their life coming into my work and disrupting or bringing down the quality of the work that is being done. I looked at my department. I'll use the first tribe as an example, 21 people. I looked at that department as a unit. We were all part of it. Something's going on with one person. It throws everybody in that unit off because we were so interdependent on the abilities of each other so that we could excel. And I always told them, I said, you just do your job and enjoy your time at work, and I'll get the best performance out of you that's possible. And guess what? You're going to get a big ass pat on the back for it. You get all the credit for the hard work you do. And I did it constantly. I always brought attention to the fact that my staff were top quality. They were the best people around. And people go, yeah, it really helps to have good people to work with. It really helps? How did I get my reputation? And how did I succeed so well in my career? I did it because of others. I was a manager. They were workers. They didn't want to manage things. They just wanted a good job. I gave them that good job. And I told them, now that you got the good job, do it good. Do your best. Make that job shine. It's yours. You got it. Lori's saying, Sty, what is a pachananga? I haven't a clue. Lori. Not a clue. What in the hell? Is that some kind of weird fruit or vegetable or something? Because I see things. Walmart's got this big square counter thing that, like, they use it to put oranges in or onions or whatever. But they got one there. It's got these little green bastards in it. And I walked over and looked at it, and I'm picking them up. I'm going, wow, that's a shitload of limes. But they're awful small. And this gal was standing there looking at them too. And I go, are these limes? And she goes, no, they're not limes. And I don't remember what the hell she said they were. And I go, oh, okay. And I put that one down, and I got the hell away from them. I don't know what the hell that is. They're picking them in some jungle somewhere and selling them in Walmart. I don't know what that damn thing is. I never heard of it before. That's like these prickly melons. I used to drive from here all the way to Milwaukee, Wisconsin with a refrigerated truck, and I'd haul food back for the food bank up on the reservation. I didn't get to pick the food. Someone on the reservation running that food bank thing, they would call down there and ask, what do you have available? They'd tell them, and they'd say, okay, we want this many boxes of this, that, and the other thing. Well, I get there, and there's a whole pallet full of these crates, these small crates, packed full of these nasty little things. You touch it, they hurt. They're prickly. Now, the guy at the loading dock, I asked him, what the hell are those? And he goes, oh, those are prickly melons. The other guy says, yes. Some people call them spike melons. I said, okay, so they're a melon. They said, yeah. They cut one open, and it looked strange. And the guy went, he fetched me a spoon, and he took a scoop out and gave me the spoon. I didn't know what to say. I put it in my mouth, tasted it. Now, I don't really know how to describe the flavor of it. And it was a little bitter. Wasn't that terribly sweet. And I thought, well, obviously it's edible. It's not something I'd scream for, I gotta have prickly melons. But I had never seen or heard of such a goddamn thing in my whole life. And here they're sending a whole pallet of those things up to the Indian reservation. I thought, I know what the kids will do with them. They'll get into prickly melon fights. They'll start throwing them at each other because they're going to sting. They're going to hurt. Lori saying you were talking about it earlier with, it says Sal jogging. I don't remember talking about jogging. And I don't remember Pachanga. I don't remember saying that. Because it's a word, when you typed it in there, Pachanga, I don't know what that is. And I don't remember talking about jogging at all in this stream. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, girl. Sorry. But yeah. A lot of weird things in the world. A lot of weird things. Fruits and veggies I find in the grocery stores, and I look at them and I go, what in the hell is that? Never seen one ever before. That's our world economy for you. If it grows somewhere and somebody stuck it in their mouth, watch out. They're going to stick it in Walmart. I mean, and they're not going to explain what it is. Oh, this is a such and such. Okay. And I don't buy things that I don't know what it is. I never said nothing about no pajamas. I never said nothing. Oh, pajogging. Pajogging. That's what you're talking about. Pajogging. A pajogging is a man's sexual organ in the Ojibwe language. We'll leave it at that. I'm not gonna try to describe it in detail. And I understand Lori couldn't see me with my finger trying to imply what I was talking about. But no, it's a man's private part is what a pajogging is. But no, nothing about pajamas. I know that. I never brought up no pajama. Yeah, Dragon's Den. I never mentioned Dragon's Den either. Sorry, girl. I don't know. The tribal chairman had said, if I can get into work, then everybody else needs to come to work. That's what that conversation was. Yeah. He was dragging a toboggan behind him. A sled, a toboggan. He was dragging that behind him. Coming into work. That's, yeah. But anyway, I was sitting here talking about wild exotic fruits, and we're getting at that point. I mean, I pushed this to 3 hours and to almost 20 minutes for a 2-hour live stream today. I do have to wrap it up. It's 5:20 here in northern Wisconsin. It is Sty's dinner time. I have got to cut out and have some dinner. So I want to thank everybody out there, all my people over in the chat, all of those people that are quiet and lurking and just watching the show. I want to thank you all for coming this Sunday. It was awesome. There's Justin popping in saying good night, Sty. Hey, you too, buddy. You too. Everyone's saying good night. Hey, Marine Mom says, and you was on last night. Yeah. Hey, Scum TV, great to hear from you. Yeah, Scum TV's been watching, just not talking. And Native said later, Stein, love you, girl. You're all awesome people. You're all awesome people. I got a lot of awesome people that watch the show, and they don't say anything. They're not over in the chat. That's not what they're here for. They want to hear the conversation. They want to see what's going on. Marine Mom, love you too, girl. and I will take the best care of myself that I possibly can. You know, I want to be Ron. I tell people that all the time. I tell people all the time. We got in a conversation about the fact that I conceal carry. You know, I carry a firearm with me when I'm out and about. And I had someone say to me, "Isn't that kind of unnecessary? You're dying anyway, so you're gonna go out there and defend yourself against somebody that's gonna kill you while you're gonna die in a year and a half anyway." I said, "You can kiss my ass. I want to be alive tomorrow. And I do want to make it to that year and a half. I want that whole year and a half. I don't want anybody taking that away from me. It's just not going to happen. Sty is going to stick it out. And yes, Sty will defend himself. Because if I don't, you wouldn't see me each Sunday. I think you'd be more disappointed to find out Sty got mugged out here on the trail and beat on and died. Sty went into the hospital and he died. I think you'd be more disappointed than what you would be if I showed up on a Sunday and said, "Hey, Sty's still here. Sty's still here." I got confronted by some character. And yeah, I had defense, so I stopped him. I slowed his butt down, stopped him. Didn't have to use a firearm, but I'm safe. He didn't get his hands on me. I think you'd be much less disappointed hearing that and seeing me live on a Sunday than having a Sunday stream come up and it's running water informing my audience I died because he was assaulted out here on the street. So, yeah. My whole goal is to stay alive and share my time with my bestest friends, and that's you guys. So with that, everybody got their goodbyes out there. Everybody, love you. And I want y'all to take care till next Sunday. I don't know that I'll do a midweek stream, but I will be working on trying to get some content made. So I may have videos, probably not posted though till a week after next. But that's why I wouldn't be streaming this, because I'm working on content. Get some videos up. I haven't put videos up since last fall, so we're going to get back into that. So until then, you all take care. You all stay safe. You know Sty loves you. And I hope to see you all next Sunday. So, as always, I grabbed that pretty girl out on the porch and welcome to northern Wisconsin. It's cold out there, so she's wearing her fur coat. And I'm going to do the waltz with her, and I'll see you all next Sunday. Bye, guys.